Hello and welcome once again to Tinker, Tailor, Solder Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Live Video Entertainment Network. My name's Ian Horner.
I'm Beej.
And today we are going to be headphone hacking.
Oh, good.
Our good friend of the show, Texan Reverend, was kind enough to turn me on to some of these hacks and tried some of these out himself. So they're like these are old ass hacks.
Really?
That I was looking through some of the information about them on the internet, and some of those pages go back into the 2000 and aughts.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So we're trying some very some old spicy hacks.
Yeah, some dank hacks from
I don't know how to do
before the time.
this being cool thing anymore.
It's all right. We're very old.
No.
What we're going to be hacking today are these KOS KSC 75 headphones.
What makes these so special?
Well, let me run down the bullet points for you on the back.
All right.
They've got themselves 15 to 25,000 hertz range of response, which is actually pretty good for a headphone.
Okay.
I mean, usually you see these things drop out at about 20 to 25,
Okay.
or 20 to 20,000 is what you usually see cheap headphones are.
Okay.
These headphones are very affordable.
Hey, remember yesterday when my mic went red when I was on Dice Friends? Just when I started
It
Dice
happened.
Friends.
It happened again
It
for you.
happened again.
Good God.
All right, I'm sorry.
Well, you're just gonna for a bit here.
I'm just gonna
60 ohms impedance. Don't know how good that's.
Holy, that's a lot of ohms, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most headphones are what, like in the 30s?
Yeah. So this is, well, you'll see why in a second when we eventually get to this.
Okay.
And yeah, other than that, they're standard headphones. They apparently have deep bass response and soft ear hooks that rotate for exceptional comfort. Those are going to become very
Useful?
yes,
They're going
very
to be very detached.
yes, very quickly. But the key thing to these is that they've got 45 millimeter titanium drivers or titanium coated drivers on them.
Okay.
Like these things have some huge drivers, and which is what makes them nice for the hacking and why these are pretty good headphones. Texan has said, and others who I've done the research through, tend to think that these sound a lot better than headphones, 3 times the price.
What is the price?
These can be had for within the tens of dollars, I believe. I honestly don't know exactly what the price is here, but
But they're not a $75 headphone. I
No,
mean,
they
it's
aren't.
KOS. KOS generally doesn't make anything that's like more than $20.
and they're very similar.
So not 10, like within the 10,
Yeah.
not multiple 10s.
I mean, you know what? Just because I haven't looked this up, let's find out what a pair of KSC 75s goes for on Yule Amazons.
So you're saying that the hacks for this are quite old, like the hacks have been around for quite a while. So presumably are the hacks for this specific model? So like these headphones have been on the market for quite a while.
These headphones have been on the market for quite a while. They're often compared to the top-rated headphone, or the Porta Pros.
Okay.
But the Porta Pros don't have the titanium coating on the drivers.
Which will probably help these things last longer, I'm guessing.
Well, or just will be a little bit stronger.
Different kind of reproduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's have a look at these. And we've got, let's see here. We have a total of 5 pairs of the KOSs, which have been sent because Texan suggested that, hey,
Why not do a bunch?
this way anyone who's in crew can have a pair when we're done if we want them.
I assume this was some sort of weird, like 5.1 sound hack, and he sent us a whole bunch so we can make like a headband of headphones.
Yeah, or bandolier.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
just really feel our.
Yeah. But that's cool.
Apparently they're just very good. So he's given us a few different patterns of holes to drill out. We'll get to that, what that means in a
Okay,
moment.
fair enough. Yeah.
But what I'm going to suggest we do here is that we go through and we mod one of these, make
Okay.
sure that it works, and then we go back and we do some of the other ones with some of the other patterns,
Okay.
and give a little
We'll have a showdown.
Yeah, we'll show it on a taste test, and then we can also pair them against some of my other favorite headphones, like the Senel MDR 75,
Right.
or 7506 clones,
Right.
the Sennheisers that Corey has, and some Bose QC25s.
Oh, so like those, which are the noise canceling ones?
Yeah, and
Okay.
just see how it sounds.
Nice.
So let's get it started off here, which means pulling the foam off gently. Now, I'm not sure if you can see here, but there's a layer of spikes which hold the foam on. So this is if you're going to do this mod, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure not to just rip the foam right off.
Or find some replacement foam cups, or get replacement other types of cups. If you're like, I don't want to wear this foam on my ears.
And so you can see here now, what we've got in here is, this is the shielding that shields the actual speaker cone. And that's what
Oh yeah, it's a black flat kind of panel.
And that's what we're going to be working with. But before we get to that, let's just remove the back from these.
Okay. You know what? Things do just snap together.
A lot of times they do. These headphones, you'll see that there's a clip on them that runs parallel to the edge of the headphone like that.
Okay.
So that's that.
I love as part of the instructions for modifying a pair of headphones. Be careful for the spikes.
Yes. Do not injure yourself upon the spikes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool! You're a Lobot now.
I'm a Lobot. This is good. That's actually reasonably comfortable. Like for looking at it, it's like because when you look at it, it's just like there's a big stainless steel piece of wire that's been twisted, and then they just looks like they dipped it in hot glue. Like, but it actually feels okay.
I mean, do you want to open up another pack here
I'd
to
like to, yeah.
try those on as well as they are?
Ooh, bet.
Because we'll need a comparison set here as well.
Your Bajoran costume is really coming together.
So is one of these our control? Is that how we're going to take it?
Yeah, let's say that. Let's call that pair our control pair.
All right.
And thankfully, we have enough sets. Oh yes, I got a cost on these. These currently run for Canadian $26.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're not like a $17 or $15 kind of. No. You drop a little money on these. You're making an investment in something, but it's not like buying a $50 pair of headphones or $150.
They're not
headphones.
exactly that expensive.
Yeah, people in the chat were saying that they're available for like 15 American.
Yeah,
if
I'm
you
sure
look at the right places.
If you price around, you'll be able to find something extremely cheap. Next up,
I don't know which one is L and which one is R, so we'll just have to make pretend.
let's grab ourselves a little tiny screwdriver, because I'm led to believe that the next step is popping the little cover off.
Oh.
So there's a slot right down here.
Okay, they do come off on their own.
Eventually?
If you're giving yourself the, like, if you're going for a run, maybe not, but if you're like, I like to go for a run and do this the entire time, then they're going to come off. But
Is that something you like to do while you run?
that's a CrossFit thing.
Ah, yeah.
So if
Back
you
to what you're doing.
around the edges here, there's a small slot there. That's where you just get in there and you can lift that.
You're lifting the black piece out.
Exactly. Now there's a bit of hot glue in there too. That's we're going to have to deal with once we eventually get to replacing this cable, because that's another thing we can do. Let's see here. That seems to be pretty. Let's see if we can push the glue out. There we go. So the glue is clear, and then let's pop that up. I might need something smaller than this screwdriver too. There we go. There we go. And it just starts to lift up. Now you have to be very careful because this is not the best plastic, and it is very lightly glued in there.
Is there a way to angle your hand a little more so it can be? I know it's hard, right? Because it's an awkward.
There we go.
Hey! Wow.
Okay.
Got it in
let's
one.
just run it through there so that we don't end up breaking the plastic, because it looks like it's fairly well glued on that other side. Ooh. There we go. And that's it. And that's an exposed driver. So the next step I'm going to try is, I think we can get, yes, aha, perfect. The cover piece for the wiring just pops right off because it's just friction fit on these 3 spikes.
Oh, cool.
So that'll allow us to get in there and actually replace the wiring too. That'll be.
It's actually someone in the chat was saying that they have had multiple pairs of these headphones, and the wiring always goes on them.
Ah, okay.
So is the idea to make sturdier wiring or a replaceable jack?
For this one, I mean, if you're comfortable soldering, every wire is replaceable.
Yes, I realize that, but are we soldering in a jack for them, or are we just basically going to replace it with a sturdier wire?
We're just going to go in with a different wire.
Okay, cool. That's something that I've noticed that I wish I'd had on headphones all of my life, was that they would just finish them with a jack at the end that you can just replace.
That is a mod you could do here, but there's not much, like if you look at this, there's not much space there.
No, you'd end up with like having to dongle a little thing
Just a
down.
huge jack off
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that would not be
No.
great. One thing else I want to mention that I just realized, if you look at the bottom of these pieces here, they have a small tab on them.
Ah.
And that is what you're going to line up to this tab hole on the speaker when you reassemble it.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and let's attempt to drill out these holes.
So I mean, the obvious question is, if drilling these holes makes it sound better, why are they not already there?
I think it's, to be honest, every set of headphones has their own sort of acoustic profile, and that's an acoustic profile that's chosen by the designers. That might not be what you like when you hear. You might want more high end. You might want more low end. What these hole patterns do is they'll adjust more of one of those types of sound.
Right.
So one of the things we're going to do is drill a hole right down the center, and supposedly that one actually allows more of the bass through.
Okay.
But let's have a look at our first hole pattern here.
I mean, there's certainly something like to be said too for we need to make something as cheap as possible. And so what do? Well, it's like, well, even if this makes it sound better, it doesn't make it sound so much better that we're willing to spend an extra piece of tooling on this, or yeah.
I mean, there's also the aspect of making it so that making it a safe design, so
Yeah.
that there's no chance of anything getting through and touching or damaging the actual cone, because
That's true, yeah.
that's a big cone. There's a lot of area on here,
Yeah.
which I could explain why these are pretty popular as a moddable headphone.
What would happen if you just left it like that without any cover at all?
Well, what would happen then is you'd probably end up, you'd put the foam back on, and you'd probably end up having it touch your ears, which would mean that not only would it just not make the proper sound because it wouldn't be vibrating free, but you might actually end up even damaging them if you ended up, pushing it too hard against your ears and deforming the cone. Right, I was bringing up patterns. The first pattern we're going to go with is a blue pattern, as he mentioned.
Okay.
And Texan says that it has a tighter, more precise sound with slightly punchier bass. So I'll just put that up on the overhead camera when we get that, so you can examine that while I get my my drillings ready. And we're looking at a 1/16 a 1/16 of an inch drill hole for that.
I do so love the words, the terms that are used when describing audio sound. Bright, tight, slick, bigger, smaller,
Punchy.
punchy.
Edgy.
It's very, like, it illustrates how difficult it is to actually describe this kind of stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean. It's like this.
Yeah. It's this word we use normally to describe things that we see.
Or
that we-
taste.
or touch. Yeah, sound is one of those, it's very ineffable, isn't it?
2, 4, 6, 8. Great. I don't know my inches so well. So I think that is an 1/8 of an inch. Great. And then that would make this one a 1/16 of an inch. roughly. Roughly.
Roughly.
Extremely roughly.
I'm pretty sure we don't have anything that goes that small ourselves in the office. So yeah.
Probably not.
You gonna use a hand drill or are you gonna use a power drill?
So, again, because this was Texan's project, he recommended using a mechanical screwdriver
oh,
because it allows for finer control.
That's fair.
Slightly slower speeds and more controllable torque.
cool.
So that's what we'll be using. And we've got this handy dandy chuck adapter for the drill-ins, which will be useful.
Nice.
Spin that up.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. Let's get that in there. And I'm not going to drill this directly on top of my iPhone because that would be stupid.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to put down, or are you just going to basically like eyeball it?
I'm just going to eyeball it.
Okay.
Set speed.
Try not to drill our cable.
That's what this surface is for.
Yep.
All right. So let's move that out of the way, and let's see here. So these are going to be on the arm covers of the side pieces here. Let's see if that even makes sense as a... Not particularly.
Let's see
Okay,
if I
we'll
can
move
get
it
a-
over here.
Let's see if I can get a closer.
We'll move it to the other camera, which should already be in position.
Yep, I think so. I think we'll be good. I can even get closer.
Great. Oh, yeah, perfect. So we're going to go right here. Oh, and that makes for a nice, clean hole. Perfect.
Now, is it fluted now, or is it like is it cylindrical all the way through?
It's just a cylindrical all the way through hole.
Cool.
And it's slightly off center, but I don't think it'll matter that much.
Okay.
What we're really doing at this point is making more holes in the, just to let more air through.
Okay.
But doing it in specific places where certain type of sounds would ostensibly be. This is actually a discussion I was having with Dandy Geek today about audiophile grade equipment, because he's doing some microphone conversions, taking some older microphones and converting them to XLR.
Okay.
And he was talking about the fact that going on audiophile sites and saying, oh, you know, they really recommend silver-based solder because apparently it really cleans up the sound. Exactly, right?
Aha.
But that's the problem with audiophile stuff, is that it's all... audio is extremely subjective until you start looking at the waveforms, but you can't really do that with music itself because the musical experience is subjective.
Yeah.
And as we were saying earlier, you might like things that sound a little bit more trebly or a bit more bassy.
Well, it's funny too because it's down to like, I play a guitar, and one type of string might sound better than another type of string. Having a coating on my strings versus not having a coating on my strings. I found that did actually make a difference in terms of overall sound, and not in a way that I found bad or good, but just the way that I found different. But I'm like, but even then, I'm playing live for myself or playing to somebody else who's listening to me. And isn't that the point at which you're trying to achieve when you're doing all this audiophile stuff, is you're trying to be like, I want this to sound as close to live as possible. Not always. It's not always what they're looking for.
Well, no, especially with today's music that is heavily produced that doesn't sound... There's nothing live about it.
No, it's all happening in a computer and it's being reproduced in a way that's like, no matter where you reproduce it, how do you know what it is actually supposed to sound like live?
So the other thing we came to a conclusion on was that there really is no space in the audiophile community for anything resembling middle ground. It's it's either you don't care about what things sound like. You're just like, this sounds fine to me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Or you care very deeply enough that you need to redo all of your joints in your audio equipment with this new silver solder from plugged in the wall to through massive power converts.
I mean, everyone's got to have a hobby.
I mean, the thing with musical instruments in particular, I know that I've seen stuff about, like things with, comparing, like, say, a guitar, a cheap guitar versus a $100,000, guitar made by a master. And there is an aspect of course, there's, more ornamentation, whatever, but there is an aspect of, they can do, sonic tests on it and, measure the resonance and all this kind of stuff. But the at a certain point, the complexity of the sound starts getting to, the way the different the waveforms interfere with each other in unexpected ways is almost impossible to sort of model in a useful way. And it's, getting back to this kind of what feels right.
And we're not even talking yet about the place that you're putting your speakers in,
Right.
or the under configuration thereof.
Like getting sound imaging and that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean, I guess all the fancy solder in the world isn't going to help if, you're standing in the wrong spot when you're listening to your music. Or you have you're sitting in the wrong kind of chair when you're listening to your music.
actually, and Anarin brings up a point that I remember reading as a guy who A/B tested his friends on metal coat hangers soldered together.
And Aaron's just brought that up, in fact.
And actual versus audiophile cables.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I read that, I was thinking, to be honest, a coat hanger, that's good, solid wire. That's
real thick, yeah.
It's probably going to be a good conductor.
And if you get the ones that have like the plastic coating on the end of it, then you don't have to worry about it contacting each other.
Yep.
You've already got it pre-shielded, right? It's a great idea.
No more wire hangers. All right. Well, let's. Shall we do a quick sound test?
So can we see what it looks like now with the holes?
Yeah, they're right here. So that's good. Some of them are more centered than others.
Yeah.
But I think it's the point is you want it on that range around that outer ring, just adding a bit more to it. So
I mean, I feel like from like the audiophile point of view, it probably really, really matters.
oh, it's absolutely vital.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to do acoustically to these guys. So let's clip them back in, and then let's go ahead and do the solder mod. Or actually, let's do a quick check first to see how they sound as it is.
So hold them up to your ear and see if they can produce properly.
So the idea is that by putting heavier duty wires that you're going to get a more clean signal or something?
Not necessarily. More just that the wires themselves.
They'll last longer?
Some people do think that new wires makes a difference in terms of the sound quality. I am not necessarily convinced of that, especially when we're dealing with things in the $2 to $26 price range. But maybe, like, hey, I'm going into this with open eyes and open mind.
All right.
Open ears, I guess.
Yes. Oh yeah, I guess we should do the rest of the mod too. So yeah, Texan wasn't a big fan of these ear clips.
No.
Because they're kind of annoying. So he got us these, which are these El Cheapo. I guess we should keep a set of these also to be a base
If we've got a pair.
to compare
nice.
against.
Yeah, but these are your bog standard Walkman headphones that you would pick up in a dollar store.
Yeah, that came back from 1985.
With the one saving grace being this spring steel headband.
Yes, which is something that people do like. So those, again, come off quite easily. Let's make sure that we're pulling them off in the correct manner.
They come off real easily. Whack!
Boop. So there we go.
Look at that.
Again, your axis of removal is, again, along the long axis of the armature. There we go. All right.
I had a pair of these when I was a kid.
We all had a pair of these, Paul.
Okay. And
We all were on this table.
I remember mine having orange. No, I never had I wanted the orange
The
ones.
funny thing, Texan did say that people who mod these generally go out and find orange ear foam to put on them as well.
I was looking for like really. I found on eBay some real thick, like big, and then about an inch thick foam all around. They look gorgeous. I think we don't need that.
Good.
So,
They fulfill their purpose.
The other trick, though, that you want to know about is making these a little bit less clampy to your head.
Yeah.
And you do that by actually going up to the angle here. And that's where you do your quick bend out.
Just to have them be a little less.
Yeah, a little bit less grippy.
Yeah.
And then you can, adjust it so it's even. You can put a little bit of bend up there, but your main adjustment for width is going to be along those axes there. And then, we forgot which one is left and right, so, it's a good thing they pop easily.
I guess the idea is that buying those headphones is actually cheaper than buying a piece of
The
metal
armature itself.
or a piece of spring steel.
But then also having to find the clip end and everything else. It's like, yeah, they make this already cheap. Why not just buy some stuff and throw it away?
Yeah. So you want to match up your clip here to your nubbin here on the headphone itself.
And be sure, I guess, well, now we don't know which one's left and which one's right, do we?
No, and we're going to have to remember that for the next pair.
Okay.
The other thing you're going to want to make sure of is try to push from the edges so that you're not pushing so that you're pushing on the housing of the cable rather than pushing the grill
for the
directly
driver.
into the shield.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So let's click that in there.
So they're actually their clips are compatible. Right?
Somehow, yeah.
It's kind of a probably one of those things where it became an accepted, like a de facto standard. That it was just like, we're gonna when we're manufacturing these things, we'll just do it this way. They'll always have this because then we can always swap out different types of things.
Those don't even look that much different than like the little crappy headphones.
No.
Yeah.
So as it stands, they're pretty loosey goosey on the thing here, which is nice. Putting them on, they're actually pretty quite comfortable.
Nice.
Let's just okay. Not bad. Let's find out how they.
How do they sound, Ian? How do they sound?
Sound like the future.
Here, how about I play you some of my music?
Oh God. It's a
See if I
good
can
thing
find
I
something
have
good
this.
for you.
Don't leave home without it.
All right, what are we gonna play for Ian?
We're gonna use the song I've chosen to test, at least from my end, is going to be I'm going to use The Chef Cooks Me Always, which oddly enough was a track, if I recall, from a tribute album to the AKG headphone line.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find it here.
If you're a tribute to a pair of headphones.
Yes, it was a tribute album.
Not just one. It was a whole album, just to one pair of headphones.
Yep.
Wow.
Thanks, Japan. If you're curious at home about what it sounds like, I was thinking of ways that we could hopefully show to you at home what the difference of what these things sound like, but that's kind of difficult because you're just going to hear things through a microphone, which is going to really skew what things sound like. Where did you go? Not Atomic Karate. That's not it at all. Is it in here? There it is. Okay, so I am listening. It was, yes, the AKG tribute album. So this is already surprising me with what it sounds like. These do not sound like a cheap set of headphones.
nice.
Do you want to put these on and just give that a quick?
Do you have another one of those, the like really cheap headphones?
Oh yeah, we've got many.
Oh wow.
So actually, yeah, I'm going to do a quick comparison with those too. What do you think, Beach?
The horns sound great.
It's a surprisingly full sound, isn't it?
Yeah. The only issue that I would have with, of course, with these is that being open back, they let in all sorts of other sound from other places. So if you're in an area that's quiet, it's going to be great. If you're in a place that's loud, you're going to have to deal with all the other sound coming in as well. Like I can hear myself perfectly fine while I'm talking. So
If I can,
it's on top of all the other audio.
if I can quote this episode's sponsor,
Yeah.
the reason for it is that he doesn't like most studio monitors,
Right.
Because he finds them heavy, tight, and hot, whereas these are light, loose, and still maintain that good quality of sound.
Yeah, unfortunately, heavy and tight are the two things that you need for sound isolation, as opposed to.
So I'm listening to these, and it's like listening to that same song through the wall in the other room. If they were like, as if this was just a single. I'm listening to this through a single piece of drywall.
Or it's like that, radio filter or whatever.
So this is the left-hand side.
Okay.
We did get it right.
Ah.
Go ahead. Wow. I can't actually even tell that they're on. What happens if we turn them up?
I mean, there's some sound leakage there.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of everything's real buried.
Yeah,
in
really terrible.
Yeah, like
Can I?
it's not like the
see
reproduction's bad. It's just that it's not.
You know, it is bad. It's missing. It
It's-
feels like it's missing half of the frequency from the top and the bottom.
Yeah, there's just. It feels like there's so much that doesn't come across. It's not like you're listening to like I can't identify what song this is. It's like no, there's just so much that's missing.
It's almost like it was transmitted through through FM or AM.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay, so this is supposed to give me.
So this is the unmodded pair you're wearing.
Yeah, this is unmodified, and it's supposed to have a tighter, more precise sound with less pronounced bass. Yeah, put those on. Let me the thing you hear, and I can actually, I feel like I can tell a difference. I don't know if I could do it blind, but I'd like us to get there and try.
Yeah. We're gonna have to put labels on all of them.
Yeah. Ah, you need more volume.
A little bit, yeah.
I've been training myself at work to listen with lower volume, trying to recover some of my hearing and let the earbuds or my eardrums.
They still sound really good.
Yeah, they do sound
Yeah.
surprisingly good. Okay, well, let's take these off here.
Okay.
And let's actually put a piece of tape on them. And actually, I would request that we give these to Paul. And then
Go get a label maker. We could just put what pattern is on them if you want.
what I'd like to do is have some, give them a,
A letter or a.
yeah, Paul, I'd like you to give them a letter so that we, and maybe keep a cheat sheet so that we don't know which mod it is. Oh, should I do the soldering mod first on this?
Let's see here.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. We've got time. Let's solder these up too. This is an interesting thing. You know what, Featherweight? You may not need to commission me at all. I think I did put out the call for people who wanted headphones, and nobody responded. So I'll probably give another ask beforehand, but I think we've got enough pairs that I can probably at least send one to you for all you do here. But yeah, I'm very impressed with the sound quality on these. These would probably be good even for editing purposes here, at least in a quiet editing office. The minute you get any sort of outside sound, we're going to have some bleed through.
Yeah, I mean, we almost all our headphones here in the office are, we try to get sound isolating kind of headphones, because often, when you're dealing with stuff where you're doing your own, especially your own voice, or another voice, the sound isolation is very important because then you can know whether what you're listening to is actually real or whether you're hearing it over, if you're hearing it with your ears or over the headphones.
Gonna use a little bit of the maker's water here to wet my soldering sponge. Oop. There we go. Let that soak up a bit.
That's when you find out you've just been drinking 40 proof alcohol the whole time, and it just lights on fire immediately.
All right, so there's A, B, C, D, and E, and I'll give you that. So I'll bring you over a pair of headphones and assign a random letter and then write down which one it actually belongs to.
Oh. Yeah, so for Paul's use, the colors are blue, orange, and green.
All right. Where's the set you just made?
So this can be the blues,
Okay.
and then mark these for. We'll wait.
So where's the set you just made?
Right here.
I see.
I'm I'm going to do the wiring mod for
I
storage,
see. Okay.
I think.
Cool. I'll give him. Oh wait, I have to do the other thing though.
Right. How about you take care of
Yeah, sounds like
getting
fun.
those ready?
It's just apply pressure until pop out.
Kind of.
Okay.
You'll get the feel
Yeah.
for it. Oh yeah, those ones just.
It feels
yeah.
pretty good. Okay.
And remember the axis upon which it comes out. All right, 360 is the solder I use.
Goodbye.
Now, while we were looking up which kind of solder he should buy for his microphones, it forced me to look up what kind of solder I use, which is the cheapest I can find from PowerFist.
Yay!
Turns out that is a 6040 tin lead mix with a rosin core.
So not silver.
No, no, I can't afford silver. Apparently, also the silver solder only contains, I think it's between 3 to 4% silver.
Oh, great! Just enough to make a difference.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
So these were also sent over. These are replacement
Okay.
bags. I also saw some very interesting when I was researching this mod.
These are stock. Give them whatever.
Stock ones?
Yeah, give them whatever letter you want, and then write down that one's the stock.
What was I mentioning? Right, on Alibaba,
Ooh, I can smell that.
there was a
Bands of pieces.
set of
Sorry, on Alibaba.
a Bluetooth remote control with 2 leads meant for earbuds, but could also be used for this type of mod.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then you can just Bluetooth it up.
So as in it's a Bluetooth receiver.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I did that a while ago with I bought a Bluetooth transmitter, which is just a little black thing with a headphone jack, like a 3.5 mil stereo off of it, that I would plug into my DS so that it would transmit audio to my Bluetooth headphones, which was fantastic. I loved being able to do that. But it meant, of course, that was the thing I had to recharge often as well. And
That's another thing to recharge.
yeah, which, that's fine. But I did love being able to, like, not having to worry about, taking a cable out and some shit. It was just like, I just basically pulled my DS out and I plugged the little thing in that was there, and it's like, I didn't have to worry about getting caught on stuff. It was really cool.
The hot glue gun here, by the way,
Yeah.
is for when we have confirmed, because I forgot my continuity tester at home. That's okay,
Oh.
we don't need it.
Okay.
But
We don't have a multimeter here, eh?
no, we really should get an office multimeter.
Yeah. We should maybe consider that.
But the hot glue's here so that we can secure the wires in there.
Actually, I have a spare multimeter.
Oh,
Maybe I should leave it here.
that might not be a bad idea.
Maybe I should have the office buy the multimeter off of me for $1,000.
So much money.
Yeah. Actually, I have my spare multimeter is it has a Hall effect sensor in it, so you can use it. You can clamp it around cables and you
Oh,
can
those
detect current.
Yeah, those are fun.
They're so cool, and I needed that. So when I was working on my car, I was trying to diagnose a glow plug problem and trying to tell which one was working and which one wasn't. And that was essentially I had to go buy this $70 multimeter just to be able to tell which one was working and which one wasn't, because I was like, I'm not going to try to get in there with my hands and unplug everything, and then how do I test it, and how do I know if the glow plug's working or not? So it was like just easier to keep everything on and then just clamp each individual glow plug. Anyway, I'm going to add that to the shopping list.
Okay, so thankfully these wires come pre-tinned, which means there's not much I'll need to do except just make the connection. Okay. Yes, yes I can. Let's move that out of the way there, and then let's move that into position here. All right, let's see.
Got some fun tack.
Oh, actually, where was that? Yeah, fun tack would be good, or if we've got some extra gaffy tape.
I can get some gaff. That's no problem. Yeah, fun tack was the thing I found out about recently.
Same here.
Yeah.
I didn't so we're going to teach you some soldering hacks here in a second.
Let's see.
Fun tack seems fun.
Yeah. Remember all those all that trouble I had with third hands in some previous episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out you can just tape things down and stick them down with that blue Mac tack or fun tack or whatever your second grade teacher called it.
Yep. All the stuff you used to hang your anime posters at home.
Yep.
Yep.
That would eventually eat through the poster with its oil and leave these little brown spots in the corners.
Yeah, and then also tear all the paint off the wall, and then mean that you had to figure out a way to paint before you had to leave your dorm room.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some tape here to lock that down in position a bit, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with the wire.
Yeah, sticky tack, as it is also called. It's just, it was one of those dumb things that when you think about it, you're like, why are we worrying about holding things in place with these clamps and everything else? It's like, why not just a big ball of sticky tack and just, it's so dumb.
The nice thing about the tape and the sticky tack is
Yeah.
that it, unlike the clamps, the alligator clips of the third hands,
Yeah.
like those are pretty rough on cable.
Can be, yeah.
Whereas this is just like, okay, it's in position. So I'm going to maneuver my wires into position where I want them to be soldered. So they're just touching there. And then touch it to the tape. And then let go. And now I don't need a literal third hand. I still might need to mouth some solder, but at least this way I'm... Okay, let's bend this ground cable out of the way. And let's bring our colored cable in and just touch it to the solder. Oop. There we go. That's a better connection.
I think I was out of the room, but did you explain why we were changing to this cable specifically?
Because it was provided to us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's
It's just to show that you can do this.
yeah. This
And
is. I mean, if you look at the cable itself, you can see that it is a much sturdier cable. Oop. There we no, damn it. There we go. That
Yay.
feels like it's good. Let's test it with a bit of tunage just to make sure.
Blue tack also makes a great stylus cleaner for turntables, apparently.
I would
Thank you, Dark
be
Morford.
very careful about that, but that does sound like it works well.
I imagine if you knead it until it's very soft and nice and warm, and then just tapped your needle inside of it. Sure, that could work. I don't know. I don't have a turntable.
There we go. It's making noise.
Nice.
So that's one down. Let's just lift that out of there. So we're going to need to loop things around here as well. Let's just loop that in there and push that. Use the blunt end of our tweezers to see if we can push that wire down into that groove there. Oof. There we go. That's really tight, which is good. It's what you want. You don't want
A loose cable rattling around.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Because it's
There we go. So that's going to provide strain relief
that's good.
rather than against the soldered connection.
Right.
And you know what? That's in there tight enough that I don't even think we need the hot glue, to be honest.
Yeah, but go hard.
Yeah.
But why not?
Well, let's see what it's like. Well, yeah, you know what? Let's just add a little... No, I'm not going to.
Sure.
I'm not going to because hot glue is the devil when it comes to repairing things.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
would turn this into a single use repair.
Yep.
So
That is definitely. Do you want to just? Shall we turn off the hot glue gun then?
yeah, I think let's do that.
Last time I used hot glue gun was when we were making the little sock monkey.
Ah.
Really?
Yeah, James and I, or rather James figured out rather quickly that he shouldn't hold the thing that I was hot gluing while I was hot gluing it.
I learned that when I was actually what I learned when I was that age was if you're making a sock puppet and you're attaching stuff to it to like so you could wear it over your hand, socks expand,
Oh,
right?
Yep.
So if you're putting like braiding and stripes around the sock,
it doesn't expand
it
anymore.
doesn't expand anymore when you try to get your hand inside of it. So then I was like, I should have had it on my hand when my mother was gluing it down. She's like, no, you shouldn't have had your hand inside of it. I would have burned you. I'm like, you're right. I learned it without having it done to me.
Can we all agree to remember that ground is on the right?
Ground is on the right.
Good.
There's a ground wire on the right.
My first exposure to that song was a Disney music video show.
Fantasia?
No, this is like they used to do these music video episodes of The Wonderful World of Disney.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and it was basically like AMVs but for Disney stuff.
Yeah.
Actually,
And official.
that's a good point, Ian. They're right or you're right.
Oh, my right.
Okay.
I am always right. That's
Good to know.
well, no, that's how I remember when I'm getting drinks for myself and Corey.
Right.
Which one am I? I am always right.
I am always right.
Yeah.
That's good. It's real. Strong statement to make.
I mean, you could take it
It's
the other.
better than saying she's always left.
Yeah, you could do it the other direction. Whichever way you can remember, just keep it consistent.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Okay.
I like the commitment on the part of the voices saying, I hot glue myself a lot and I do cosplay and I'll keep hot gluing myself.
Yeah.
Good for you, the voices. I'm proud of you.
Just
Keep
hot glue
on-
yourself into your outfit, and as long as you don't have to change, you're fine.
Sometimes I wonder if that isn't kind of like necessary in a lot of cosplay I see. If they have to really like strap themselves in, they have to basically permanently affix themselves to whatever it is they're wearing.
I mean, the first time I saw a cosplayer binding themselves with duct tape, do not bind yourself with duct tape. Cosplayers are harder core than most people
Yeah, that's fair.
realize.
Were they cosplaying as like a roll of duct tape or anything?
No.
Sort of a low rent Tron outfit.
That's true, yeah. I mean, there's like spirit gum. Like the proper way to do it is like spirit gum, and then you have the spirit gum remover.
Yeah.
Well, it's very difficult to spirit gum your breasts down. Buy a proper binder is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of solder on these. And they look ugly as sin, but hey, they work. Okay, that's one that I think has been fully... Yep, they're working.
Nice.
All right, so let's jam that cable in there with some relief.
It has been pointed out in chat that binders are cheap. You can just get one from Amazon for $30.
Please.
We are from the old days
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
when Amazon was not even a thing.
Oh God, yeah.
Not
right.
even in the States when cosplay was a thing.
And even then, it's like, okay, the bookstore, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like if you wanted
Oh, you
to
need binders? Great.
Yeah.
3-ring or D-ring?
the you know, you would use you would use ace bandages. And Contingent Cat even says also ace bandages are not good for binding. Yes, but you would use what
was available.
was available, which is ace bandages.
Good
or
God, are we literally doing a back in my day? We didn't have.
This is the thing, but that's the thing, right? That's how it's gonna be for us.
Yep.
Is that as we get older and as everything gets rad here in the now, we're gonna think about all the shitty stuff that we had to put up with in the old days, like 4th generation Hecto subs. Right?
And affordable real estate.
Yes, that was the worst. God damn it.
4th generation fan subs, no duct tape binding, and affordable real estate.
I remember owning property. That was like, it was the good old days as far as I was concerned. That shit doesn't happen anymore.
All right, we've got some good cabling on that. Check out those knurled edges on the
Oh, hey.
on the edges. These are nice.
So it's a nicer quality cable, certainly.
yeah, they are definitely twisted pairs in there. It's
This also means that you could just buy a replacement wire that's got a microphone built into the thing.
yes, you could if you
Yeah.
wanted to. Like these are some that's been the easiest cable repair I've ever had
Yay.
for a headphone.
That's awesome.
And I think I need to remember. Yep, red. So red is right.
Did you want me to be disassembling another set for you while you're doing this, or
But I need this
I need that?
because I want to listen to them one more time.
Okay.
How are we doing for time here?
Oh, I don't know. We've been up for 54 minutes and 48 seconds. Thanks, Lobot. Lord Hosk, I owned property in the middle of Alberta. I don't live in the middle of Alberta anymore.
Okay. Let's see how this makes me feel. Huh.
Any better? Not as good?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to comparing all these.
I think your microphone stopped.
Uh-oh. My microphone did stop.
Maybe we should have swapped batteries before we started.
Mm-hmm. Like that?
That's good, actually, yeah. I rolled it back to where there were more horns and more bass. And I was like, actually, yeah, that sounds really nice.
I'm really surprised with these so far. Okay, so let's give those to Paul for classification,
All right.
and then I think let's. It might be time for us to take a quick break. Actually,
Okay. I think that's fair.
let me.
Now, of course, that's up to Paul. And while you're getting your microphone in
Yes.
order, he's also got to work all that other stuff
I
out.
was going to re-say that for the
Yeah.
the value of the people who might not have been able to hear me. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break here while we prep for doing the rest of these headphone mods, and then we'll be back with more and probably a review, I guess, of
Yeah,
the
hopefully.
various types. Don't go away. More Tinker Tailor Solder Fry after this. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, where we are doing some modifications to these COS stereophones, the KSC 75s.
Stereophone.
Stereophone. Yeah, we've done one so far with one polar pattern, and it's time for us to try pattern number 2. And so I'm going to let Beej take care of doing that while I get busy desoldering the wires and adding the new wires to them.
Cool.
So I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, I'll start taking this apart.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna make the garbage go over there.
That's exactly, yep, that's what I'd do.
Always, ever since I was a kid, I always liked the idea. It was Friar Tuck in
Yep.
in Rocket Robin Hood, who would just take bites of food and toss it behind his head.
That guy had it figured out.
That fictional character sure did know how to live. All right, and I guess I'll get another pair here out and then break them up so that we can be working on these simultaneously. Ooh,
Look at them new crafting gear.
some nice gears there, username.
All right, you are left.
So far we managed to do this once without screwing it up.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Is there a...
So for those who weren't around for the first half, we start by popping off just popping off.
Yeah, this whole thing is just popping off.
Popping off the ear clips, of which we're going to have quite a few when we're done.
These are some pokey spikes. They're not sharp enough to break the skin.
But enough to irritate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll yank the, we'll pull the foam back before peeling it off.
Cool.
There we go. That's one.
Hang on a second. I just had a thought.
Oh.
Rather than trying to figure out or keep it straight, because you yourself even said red is right.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So if red is right, that means that if this is the right hand one, all I have to do is put a nice little red dot on here, which we're never going to see ever again. But now I'll know which side is right.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So,
I'll do that to this one as well, if you'll
yep.
allow me. Thank you. Little tricks. Boom. Okay, let's pop these off.
Oh, good. Some people are remembering Rocket Robin Hood. I'm very happy. I have one episode of it downloaded sitting on my hard drive because I'm like, I will never see this again anywhere else.
You know, if nothing else, I think I just really need to make a GIF of the
Yeah.
Little John eating.
Why?
Friar Tuck. That was it.
That should, yeah.
So wasteful.
It was
It is.
incredibly wasteful. It was the 70s.
You watched in awe, really, as they're like, this is what they decide. This guy is so gluttonous, but which didn't make any sense because I was like, if he's that gluttonous, wouldn't he want to eat all the food? No, it's like I take one bite, I am satisfied that I have eaten all I can eat, despite what's left.
He's a friar. He's a man of the cloth. He should know better
Yeah,
than to.
he should be sharing it, but instead it's like I bite it, and then it's like, what do? I throw it behind me, and it's like, why?
Do I catch it in this mouth on the back of my head?
But yeah, right? You were the one who told me,
Yes.
like, I think he has a mouth on the back of his head, and that's what he's doing. Is he's taking a bite with the front mouth to taste it and putting it in the back mouth to actually eat it.
Yep. The digestion comes from the back.
That's messed up.
It's the future. There's rockets.
Everyone has rockets. Little John still has a quarterstaff.
I was gonna say the Little John's eating style was the thing that you found the least believable in a show called Rocket Robin Hood.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was the Sheriff of Nott, N-O-T-T. Yeah, because it was something to do with
I did not watch this.
it was like the evil form of the Federation, essentially.
Yeah.
Let's see. What am I going to use to pop this?
Well, you can use this.
Oh, okay, good. I thought while you were using that, I thought maybe I can come with an alternate
I
solution.
can just be really quick about it. Okay, I'm going to bring up the second pattern here for you, Beach.
Okay.
And we can bring that up on the camera.
You
and
have
the
10
overhead,
seconds to memorize
the
it.
overhead as well, if we like.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Shit,
This one has two different types of holes.
Whoa. So it's our favorite four.
Ooh.
At 3/32, and then four larger ones, eliminating the.
Just widening out the middle of those.
So it's basically making. It's widening out in the dead center. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm drilling an 1/8 inch of a hole. Wait, 1/8 inch, which is rather big. Dead through the middle of a. Okay, yeah, I see that. Okay, cool.
And then you can pass those over here for the desoldering. Once
Sure.
you've got them ready.
Let me get this right off. Come on.
Now we've got oh, there we go. Hey, thank you, Arclight. I'll have to somehow find a way of putting that in my.
This was a very Canadian thing, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this was Nelvana.
No, it feels like Filmation.
Because I thought it was by the same people who were doing like the Spider-Man and everything else at that time, which maybe wasn't Nelvana.
No, that was that. I was pretty sure that was also.
Filmation.
No, that might have been Nelvana.
I can't remember now.
It's hard to say. It's all that really old, disgusting animation. And looking at it now, actually, it looks a lot better than I give it credit for.
It's very colorful.
It was a colorful set of characters.
It's good.
All right, so, oh yes, Dark Altar wants to know what this pattern is for. This one is a little more open-sounding while retaining nearly all of the bass enhancement and presenting somewhat more laid-back mids. All of this is probably more subtle to people who haven't listened to 9 or 10 different variations of these headphones.
What does laid back mids mean?
I guess less aggressive, less...
Like it's not quite as the mids aren't there as much.
That's what I would guess.
So we're making bigger holes to hold back the mids.
Well, to boost the mids, but not boost them over the...
Okay.
I guess.
This is so the other one that you have here.
Is this like putting speed holes in your car? Like, is this?
It might be. Don't ruin the illusion, Paul.
I feel like I'm hearing differences, at least between the drilled out version we just did and the originals.
Right.
But that's why we've got you on Science Patrol here.
Science police.
Gotcha, man. Science Police. Well, no, that was the Space Ninja team. The Science Patrol was Ultraman, specifically Ultra 7, if I recall.
I would be very happy if they would make more. Where's the Chuck key there? If they would make more Gotchaman crowds. That was a very fun show.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Right. Color is on the left, ground is on the right. Ground is always on the right.
So this is the one we just used. Okay, those seem identical. This one's a hair bit.
Thing where it's like, yeah, so laid back means not as harsh. Okay, so what does harsh mean? Oh, it means like not as aggressive. Okay, what does aggressive mean?
It was produced by Krantz Films from 1966 to 1969.
Krantz Films.
Krantz. When rockets were the thing, right? Because the space race was on.
Yep.
And then abruptly ended. Do you have any calipers or something so I can tell the difference between these different, in terms of size?
I was using the tape measure.
Okay. So we're looking for 332, which is just a hair over.
Oh, come on, I can do better than that.
Is there actually a... Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. So that's the 16th.
Okay, and then we're going to get number 2. I'm going to try switching hands.
That's 1/16.
Oh. Goofy foot.
Wait, hang on.
Or actually proper foot for me, at least. Right hand for the control.
That's 1/16.
Now, did Goofy Foot actually get used anywhere other than Skate or Die?
I mean, an actual real skateboarding?
Or is it an actual term?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, goofy foot means that you're riding with your right foot forward.
Okay.
Generally, lefties tended to do that.
I thought it was just not your dominant foot, but maybe it's left. Maybe it's always your right foot.
I think it was meant to be that you're riding with your right foot forward because everyone just assumed that if you're right-handed, you'll put your left foot down and you'll use your right foot to push.
Gosh.
But then if you're left-handed, it's assumed that left side of your body is dominant, and so it's like, but that's looks goofy, and there it was Goofy Foot. Okay. So it was 3/32 and a 1/8.
Do you need the image again?
3/32 are the smaller holes, and 2/32 is 1/16. So anything that's a hair over that, and this is a hair over that. So this is because this isn't 4/32, which would be 1/8, but this is sure a bit bigger. So we're going to do that, and then we need 1/8 inch.
Okay. And let's get this in here.
That looks like smaller. That seems like
That's
1/8.
good stuff.
Okay, that should be my 1/8.
That's a good shot there, Paul. It's fun watching. Looking down the barrel of the soldering iron, you can actually see the aberrations of the heat. Here we go.
Oh, hang on.
This is a small enough job that you just have a bit of solder on the tip of the.
I'm actually just making do with the solder that's built up on the pads themselves.
Oh, I see.
You know what I love?
What do you
With
love?
all my heart, millimeters.
Yes.
The metric system is a godsend. Oh my God.
I also have a trouble with learning the different fractions.
This has to be 3/32.
Someone called it the numeric system recently when I was looking at some sort of a project. They were saying, hey, you know what? This would be a lot this project that you put on Instructables would be a lot easier if you just converted it to the numeric system. Then you wouldn't have to convert from millimeters all the time.
If only you used numbers to represent everything.
The first comment in response was from the guy who put it together, the Instructable, stating, I live in Europe and have used millimeters all of my life. I am very well attuned to it. And in fact, if you use European tools, which are also all in millimeters, everything works together fine and there's no confusion.
Yeah. I hate having two sets of wrenches. I just hate it.
It's like millimeters and metric system is definitely better for most things. But what we can all agree is much worse is not using it consistently.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I would be fine if we all just stayed on the imperial system if we could all agree on it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's probably worse, but at least it would be consistently worse.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to pick a fight with all of our American people who are watching this in the chat. Like, far from it.
You're fine, people.
Use whatever system you like, and it's great.
But being stuck halfway in between the two is the real problem.
Yeah.
So now you have to have like a set of both. We had a big discussion a while ago about in I think it might have been on AFK or something about how American and Canadian drink sizes are so messed up.
Right. The 12 ounce, the 16 ounce, the 20 ounce, the 22 ounce, the 24 ounce, the 32 ounce, the liter, and the 2 liter.
The Mickey.
And they also have like 500 milliliters.
Right. Yes.
And it's like, we don't have that.
Like we used to have 500 milliliter bottles.
Yeah.
And we got rid of those for 650 milliliter bottles.
Yeah. Like, I thought the reason why we have weird numbers is because we're trying to match the American sizes, but it turns out they also have weird numbers.
Yeah.
So
All
we're
right.
both trying to match each other and ending up caught halfway in between with terrible numbers on both sides.
Which
Star
one of those?
cross numbers.
Which one of those lines up with the butt? Which I believe is a measurement of volume.
I did not realize because you go
How
and
many
buy
rods to a hogshead? Right. That's important.
when you buy
Magnets.
how many when you go get a growler, right?
Yep.
I didn't realize that growlers and bombers and like all that. It's like those are actual
Terms
Terms.
of art. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a growler is exactly this much of whatever.
Yeah.
It's not just like this is my growler. Well, how much is in it? Well, it's a growler's worth of beer.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be 3 pints or whatever. I have no idea. But
It actually works out to about close to 2 liters.
Okay.
So I know I can get 4 and a bit metric pints.
yeah. Yeah. 4 and a bit metric pints.
A metric pint being 500 milliliters.
How much
I
is
want
a
to die.
how much is a non-metric pint?
20 ounces.
Do we have an awl? Or a center punch or something?
Not. Oh,
I want to be sure I don't fuck this up.
can give you something. Give me a second.
I just need something to aim for, and I think I made it.
It's like I get that we have to have different measuring systems in different contexts because you know like you measure like nautical speed in knots because that's how you measure it because that's how they originally were measuring it. But couldn't they have set up the system that they're using to measure it so it would line up with the other system? Like just because the device that you're using to measure it shouldn't mean that now it uses a completely different scale.
Oh no, that's right. The Arclight Dynamo mentions that the non-metric pint varies whether you're American or British. I do not recognize the American pint.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think this mod is better done?
Goodbye.
Oh, it's black, and everything down here is black.
Hold up, I've got a headphone. Flashlight
There
incoming.
it is. I found it.
Good.
It's actually fell into the light.
I did not know that. The nautical mile is a measure of arcs around the globe, so the higher in latitude you are, the length changes of a nautical mile. Wow.
I didn't know that either, and that
Yeah.
makes me extremely angry.
Yeah.
But that's fine, but just don't have the word mile in there, just because having the word mile in there gives you a false sense of security.
Yeah, don't they call them like knots or something when they're at sea?
Well, no,
no, that's speed.
Yes,
Yeah.
then that's based on literally the number of
Nautical,
knots in.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Do you think
So-
it's better to drill through the back or better to drill through the top?
I drill through the top because we have space underneath.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right, how long a chain is depending on the temperature.
And, oh no! And what is Knots Landing then? Like I know it was a TV series in the 80s.
Come on. Oh, okay, got there.
Wait, but if knots are nautical miles per hour, then you have to have a different set of knots for different.
That's why I DO'd over that.
Yeah.
So do you have like 30 different ropes depending on where you are?
That's the only way that makes sense. And latitude was the easy one to figure out too. Anyway.
Like calories small c and calories big C.
Mm-hmm.
Because people didn't want to start saying kilocalories.
Yeah.
Kilocals. What's like the Newton? You know, it's one of those units that's extremely important to physics, but generally people never use on a daily basis.
Yeah. All right. I was off by a little bit on that one.
Oh, not bad at all.
But not bad.
That looks spectacular.
Yeah. So that's a start.
Let's throw that up on the overhead next. Do a side by side with what we got.
We're not done yet because we have to add more holes, but.
Let's put some white under there so you can see a little. That didn't help at all. It's a filthy package, but.
What was in there?
Oh, that was the bag the drill head chuck came in.
You know what's great is that this might be the first time that the injury pool might include me as well.
Oh, hey, yes.
Instead of just being Ian gets horribly injured, it's like Beej ends up horribly injured.
Beej.
So that one you still need the bigger holes in the slits, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Ground is right.
Okay.
This one has a handy piece of paint on it to let me know which side is which.
I was about to blow through it, and I'm like, that's a problem maker right there. Don't do that. Damn, you would have thought a computer made this. Perfect. Trust me.
I'm a doctor.
Don't need to see how good a job I did. Just trust me, I did a fine job. just like doctors.
I was gonna say, I mean, I've seen computers doing projects. It's not necessarily.
I don't know. I like watching CNC videos. Here, watch me return to 0.
I'm really disappointed that no one yet has made a CNC Music Factory video.
Out of actual CNC machines
Yeah.
failing, or just out of them in general.
I just want to see a bunch of CNC machines doing I Like to Move It.
That wasn't one of their songs, though. Everybody Dance Now was the big hit.
I would.
That's fine.
I would be actually surprised if they're like. I don't. Aren't there CNC machine like music things? There's all sorts of different
Yeah, because there's
motorized
the
machines.
floppy ones, and there's actually one that was like,
Oh, floppy disk machines,
yeah,
right.
not floppy CNC machines. Mostly accurate.
A jelly phallus attached to a CNC machine.
It's like that tailpipe video I put up, which I'm not going to describe.
Let's just call it a male marital aid attached to attached to an exhaust on a truck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those things stretch.
It was the most interesting exhaust mod I've ever heard.
It's definitely like if you like body horror.
Like, I would love to hear that on Top Gear, to be honest. Attach that thing to a Murcielago.
Oh God.
Just like the color boys in China.
All right, I'm gonna try not to fuck this up. That's what he said. Let's try to not fuck this up. That didn't even try to make a big hole.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe let's reduce the speed
Yeah.
on that one.
Reverse that so I can get it out. Yeah, it didn't even try to make a difference.
Oh yeah, you're going to want to use a lot less pressure and lower speed.
Is there a way to actually slow the speed down?
Oh, that should be the top thing, I think.
I turned that, so is it?
That's reverse, I believe.
As with the as with the soldering, what if you tape it down to the?
Yeah, we could tape it to the table. It would hopefully not move if I did it.
Or
Let me just
put
see.
your finger on it.
I'll just put my finger on it again. And walk out. I wonder. All right.
Need a bigger.
Like part of the problem is the drill bit is slipping in between the crack.
And if I give it a try there?
So maybe you need to use a much larger bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, go right ahead.
that might be the case,
It
too.
might be in reverse also, just to warn you.
It is in reverse, yep. Okay. Battery's still good. I'm just going to rest it on top there. Okay.
You're just gonna carve it out a bit?
Yeah, we may need a larger bit there, I think.
Let's just
but,
try that.
But yeah, I think I got that fairly good.
It's not the larger bit.
You must do it too small.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Exactly what we needed. So maybe that one. Okay, I would say let's do this one.
And whoop. Oh, you're over there now. That's not too bad. But yeah, maybe
Yeah, it's a bit bigger actually. Yeah, I see what you're going for here.
I think you just let it wind itself in, and then you grip it, and then pull, and
Yeah, pull in both directions. Okay.
yeah, you
I'll
can
have
do
to
that
clean
without
up a
having
bit.
to get in there. Okay, let's
I'll use it over
wrap that around there.
And I would rather do that.
And jam this in there with my trusty spudger. And by spudger, I mean the back end of this plier. Where are my... There you are. Okay, that's one buttoned up there. And that's one buttoned up in here as well. Come on, get in there. Good, good. Okay. I want to make sure these are both working. I feel confident, but always important to check. That one's good.
Yay.
Let's double check the other ones, because I don't think I did. Okay. Yeah. Gotta watch out for that. They're speakers, therefore they're magnetic. So I actually had some touching of the element, but it doesn't look like there's any damage to it, so we're safe. Hooray.
Hooray.
I'm still amazed at how good these drivers actually just sound on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of surprising. All right, there we go.
It's like when you bought that Class T amp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I brought with me today
Nice.
for driving these headphones. Let's...
So do you need these from me?
Not yet.
Okay.
Um,
I keep cleaning up all the crud
yeah,
that's in them.
I'm going to detach the headset from some of these other bad. No, they're not bad. They're just really... No, they are bad. These
Yeah.
are bad.
Okay. And they should feel bad.
These are bad, bad, bad.
How much do you think a pair of those would run you?
Phew, $2 max. If you're paying more than $2 for these, you're paying too much, I think.
Mm.
Yeah. These just wanted to see if we can get this over top of that, and there's no way that these foams are getting over top of the costs drivers. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually think about this, but the AKG tribute album that I was mentioning earlier, it's a tribute album for headphones.
Yes.
Maybe AKG in the sense of Asian Kung Fu Generation,
Oh, cool.
which makes a lot more sense to have a tribute album for.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Still, I think that's very funny.
So not the pair of headphones.
No.
No. But the really, really good band.
Yes. With a really, really good name. Okay, you got that set
I
done?
got those two done, yep.
Okay.
So what are we looking at for the third? That's the orange set?
Yes, I believe this is orange. Okay, get ready for... Well, let's show off what you did here, first of all.
Want to cry.
Oh, no, that's not the one you're doing yet.
Whoa.
That's next. This is Beej's handiwork of the of orange.
Let me,
It's weird, right? Because it seems like when you see it, it's like, oh, well, those larger orange dots should be larger. And they kind of technically are. But not by a lot.
No, but I think that it might make a difference. Anyway, the final pattern is apparently the orange drill out has been superseded by the mod community favorite shown here in green.
1/8 of an inch.
Everything,
Fuck my shit up.
everything 1/8 of an inch, every end to every everything
Holy hell.
plus central plus extras plus one right in the middle.
Oh my god.
This looks like, you know, when you're playing like a puzzle game, like on your phone or something.
Yeah.
And just like as the levels progress, it's like, oh, now you're gonna have to deal with 10 holes all
Yeah.
at once.
Oh, well, okay, that's not the... I already worked on 6, so... Oh, God, no!
Sorry, I thought something was wrong there.
No.
Hey, you know what? What's great, Beach?
What's that?
We haven't ruined any of these pairs of headphones yet.
Well, way to
Why
jinx
would you
it.
say that now? When the hardest one is still to be done.
All right.
Well, we still have one extra pair of.
Do you think I should put the slightly larger end in here to drill these out to make all the holes a little bit larger because it's all 1/8 of an inch?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, because this is just barely an 1/8 of an inch, and the other one is just a little over an 1/8 of an inch. And I'm like, show
I mean, I
how
feel,
far off are we?
Yeah.
I feel like like this design that you're making now is just basically open it as much as possible
Yeah. How much could we drill out?
while still having the structural integrity at least somewhat there.
Agreed.
So, Paul, I'm going to ask you have the reference pair there as well, correct? Or do you have?
Yes. Well, yes, I do.
Okay,
I
good.
have the reference pair and I have the blue pair.
Great, great.
That's the wrong way.
And does the reference pair have the new cables on it or not?
I don't think it has a new.
does not.
No.
Okay, perfect. So what I'll do is I'll put the new cables on this set as well, and that way we can see if the cable makes a difference compared to the reference pair as well. That way we've covered all our bases for science. All right, right goes in here.
Science patrol.
Okay. Whew, man, oh man, that barely hung together. I don't know if we can show that on the overhead or not, but that center hole barely hung together.
Ooh, yeah. You just.
Ooh, nice.
Like it's just barely there.
So that is definitely a little larger than what they're showing. But that just
Yeah.
means more sound. So it's got to be good.
Should we go with the slightly smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a bit. Yeah. Okay. These are ready for you, Paul. These are our.
Those are the ultra bass version.
These are the oranges. I'll bring them over. Those over to you.
These are orange.
Should be
These
this
are
one,
orange.
shouldn't it?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think. Boy, those even feel like the same thing. All right.
We won't be able to properly blind taste test, I guess, the cable itself, but at least then we can drill out the ear holes to our favored design.
Okay, so in between all the rest of these, there are these. And north of them is another hole. Jesus. I just get this sick feeling that there are people who are like, there are people who are making this mod who then fuck this up, and because they'll be off by like a micron or some shit, right? Well, they'll be like, oh, it's not perfectly square, and they'll just throw it out.
For the whole thing.
Yeah, and be like, no, I got to buy a new pair of headphones and get these new things or whatever. There's probably somebody like 3D printing this shit, or someone's got like a line on the Shenzhen factory these are made, and be like, send me 500 of these.
Oh, the best version you
They're
can
like
do.
a drill press that they're making.
Yeah.
The best ones of these are actually the ones where you actually cut your own grill out of a tin can.
Ah.
I'm making shit up. Though there,
No, actually, that sounds like a great idea.
though there are people out there who do
I mean, you could 3D print your own grill. I'm sure it happens. Yeah.
they do mods of these actually with people just putting a straight grill on instead of and replacing the plastic.
Oh,
But just-
replace it completely.
Yeah.
With just a grill-looking thing.
Like, is the objective to allow as much audio through while still protecting the driver?
I don't. I think there's it's hard to say without actually doing this, and that's kind of why I'm doing each one of these hole patterns, is to find out if there is a difference, because my mind says it shouldn't make a difference. It's probably all going to sound the same,
Yeah.
but you know there is some physics involved, and there might be a difference.
Do you have a number of songs that you can test it with that
Oh,
you think
yes.
would have dynamics that will show off the difference? I guess is the trick.
We're off to a different thing now.
When I was
Where'd it go?
nope, face
So
it.
those are the 5 inner holes. as you can see. One of them's a little bit drilled too far north, but that's okay.
When I was talking with Ben today earlier, we were actually discussing what kind of music we like to test and show off our audio systems with.
Mm-hmm.
And two of his albums were the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack and Lupin the Third, All That Jazz. Like, those are good choices. But we were musing that it might be the reason why jazz is so favored within the audiophile community is that it's the way it's recorded. It's very easy to hear the differences or each individual instrument.
I remember the first time actually I was like in a
Didn't need to do that.
in a store or something, but listening to some like a pair of headphones that were like a $500 pair of headphones or something, right? And that thing where you actually like hear the musician like taking the breath between playing and stuff, and you're like, oh, there's a whole other thing going on here.
Or if you're a saxophone player, you can start to hear like the actual opening and closing of the
Valves.
stop. Yeah, the valves and the stops.
One of my favorite tangential thing is in general MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
There is because they always try to make the reproduction as close as possible, but general MIDI is a very general, this is the general sound font, right?
Yep.
There is a instrument for string scratch.
Huh.
So when you hear a guitar playing, and then they can literally have a string scratch put in as like a 30-second note that makes it sound like you can hear the hand moving up the thing, and I was like, oh my god! When I found that out, I was like, you had an extra instrument, and that's what you decided to use. Was that okay? Fine.
Steamed hams, except it's all just string scratch from general MIDI. Alrighty then. Let's.
God, I remember mod files.
Oh, I do. I fondly remember mod files.
Yeah.
I think I was on Twitter or I was on the Discord talking about the fact that I used to take mod files and play them and tape them on a tape.
Ooh.
So that I could listen to my mod music in the car.
Nice.
Ooh. Did not do a good thing to that. Good.
Okay, we are very close to being done with this one here. I just gotta drill 8 more holes. Fine.
Keep at it.
I'm gonna drill all the dead center ones at least.
Right. That was red. Forgot to mark my headphone. Red for right.
Nope.
Okay, good. We sure do have a lot of 1/8-inch cables, should we ever need to repair an 1/8-inch cable
Yeah.
with a jack.
All right. 1/8-inch cable that we've removed because it was crappy.
I mean, let's be honest, provenance unknown. But we were sent all these fancy new cables, and by dadgummit, we will use them.
Please don't break. Technically still sound.
Still together?
Still together.
Good enough. Good enough.
Oh, it looks like hell. Oh.
But sounds like heaven.
Surprised if
I
these
mean-
actually work out properly. Yeah. I hope that didn't ruin anything. Let's see.
You haven't,
I need to come back.
you haven't drilled through the table yet either,
Which is kind of what we're definitely don't want to have happen. Is that okay? Whatever.
Okay. These tiny solders are starting to. One down.
Yeah, remember, kids, make sure you save a copy of your headphone grill before you do it's because you can't just undo this. You gotta revert back to your saved version.
Tinker Tailor Solder Fry has yet to implement layers and undo.
Yeah.
Layers are coming in the next patch.
Batwool has mentioned, I've never heard anything on my saxes being called a stop. Brasses have stops. It's very true.
I'm a brass player.
Exactly. That's why he said that. I'm a sax player. That's why I said it was valves. I mean, generally we just say keys, but not every hole on a saxophone is a key, as in a key that you would press, but they are connected mechanically to other valves.
I love
Keys needing pads. I mean, but they're not really valves.
Like I played the flute, right? And
yeah.
It's the same deal. Like I love how complicated those kind of instruments are with like you push this button and it opens up 3 other
Yeah.
Whoever figured that out first.
Yeah.
That was like no. Just like the tube with the holes in it is too easy.
Yeah, they really should have patented that.
Let's start making weird levers everywhere.
Can you show me the picture one more time?
Yes, I can.
Right. Okay. We're gonna be a few minutes. I haven't even started the second one. Like, my God, guys.
Turns out this soldering is actually really easy too. So
Okay. Oh, that's good.
this is taking almost no time, which is fine. That's one down.
I love that it's also like go to the corner of each one of these grid parts that well, that was off by a bit. Go to the corner of each one of these things and then widen it out. But don't just widen the whole thing. Just widen in 3 spots.
Yeah, like did they test widening the whole thing and it wasn't right? They just
Probably.
needed like a little bit.
From what I can see from this, there have been a number of different modifications tested over time, and some gain favor within the community.
Yeah. People being like, this one really ended up sounding really good, or this one had a different kind of. I mean, yeah, you just have to be able to reproduce this over and over again. And
Texan is in the chat here, and they have mentioned that yes, they tested widening the whole thing. It's going quite well so far, actually. What I've decided to do, Texan, is we're trying out each one of your whole patterns, and then we're going to do a blind test.
All right. Here is. It looks like a drain cover.
It's not bad. Would you like me to have a go at the other one?
I'm actually, if you want to give it a shot, I'm more than happy. I'm liking doing this.
Could we just get a drain cover? Is that like, yeah, it does look like one of those like sink.
If you don't mind, I would absolutely love to try.
You should give
getting
it a go.
those. Here, you can put these together and
love
hand
to.
that off to Paul.
All right.
All right. And I think we can actually shut off the soldering iron now.
Oh, good.
There we go. Apparently 9 different drill out patterns were tested. Good God, man.
Are we saving all of these?
I mean, we'll save them in a box when we do the cleanup, but
Okay.
yeah.
You have to eat it first. And then
I like that it has a, this drill has a flashlight in the bottom of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So we like,
Hands up! Ha-ha! I don't know why I need to put my hands up.
so the driller can see you, I guess.
Soviet construction facility, drill must be able to see you. Okay. I was also off by a small amount in the middle.
Yep.
That'll happen, I guess.
I
Okay.
imagine it must be like Le Petit Mort whenever you get it like dead on.
Small crisis.
You just kind of like, just like, oh, I made it. Oh my God. Oh, Christ. That was my knee and probably your fingers.
Thankfully, I was not drilling when that happened.
All right, Paul, here is orange. That should be the orange set.
No, I already had the orange set.
What
Yeah,
set is that?
That is reference to cable only.
Oh, reference cable only. Okay. Neat.
Is that?
So reference cable only.
Yes. It does not have a color. It is a free man. Go. And then thusly,
Text and reference suggests pilot holes.
At least I think for the holes where there is no. So what I found is that drilling the four holes that like the ones that are going through the most plastic, not the ones we're widening out, when it was flipped upside down, it was easier because it was a rougher surface,
okay.
and I didn't find that the bit skidded as much.
They weren't skipping. Well, let's give it a try. You're right.
Good. Okay. I know the euphonium player in the chat.
Hey!
I knew you'd like that.
Yep. Apparently, not apparently, sometime in the next year, though, I'm going to come into possession of a shamisen.
Hey.
And that's going to be an interesting ride.
Nice. A shamisen is like Japanese banjo. In that,
It's a stringed instrument that has a skin brought tight over top of a resonance chamber with a bridge on it.
yeah. Generally three strings.
Are you? Is this just gonna like appear to you? I mean, are you gonna do anything to make it happen?
Is this like the secret? Is this a hermetic thing?
Yeah. No, my family's cleaning out their home in anticipation of moving to a smaller place.
Oh, and you had your shamisen back at.
Todd, my
Oh.
brother, left his shamisen back in Lethbridge,
Nice.
and he's not taking it back to Japan with him. So
God, Arclight Dynamo. I'm never calling it a Japan Joe. Never, ever. But shamisen are amazing instruments. They sound fantastic. And is it the Shimada brothers? What's the name of the two guys who?
that's the Yoshida Kyodai.
The Yoshida Kyodai. Thank you. I can never remember their
Yoshida
names.
brothers.
Yeah, Yoshida brothers. If you want to listen to some really good shamisen, go look up Yoshida brothers on YouTube.
It's actually the Kubo and the two strings. Is that what he's playing?
I think that's actually a jamisen, which was you laugh, but it's a proto shamisen that uses a snakeskin resonance.
But it's a similar idea. Then.
Yeah, very similar.
There was a we had
You
a
could be just making up words, and I would have no way
Yeah.
of calling you on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a Lamy-san. Yeah,
This-
it's a different thing.
No, that
You
only
want a
showed,
Pammy-san.
that actually only showed up in Jammer Lammy during the Japan
oh my
portion.
god. Oh my god, if they gave her a Lamy-sen to play in one stage.
It would have been so great.
Yeah. The
Maybe for Rap Rabbit.
yeah, okay. I had a professor who had a graduate student who was learning to play the shamisen, and she was very good at it, and she's one of the few white people who was training under actual Japanese masters who were willing to show, like, you know, it's like, we'll do that. Because, but anyway, it's an amazing, I think it's a fantastic instrument because they're fretless, and they have that cloying kind of sound.
Because you play them with basically a little paddle.
Yeah, you need it is what we call it a plectrum. Obviously, like you would have plectrums for other things as well. But it's a big, like, it's wide at one end and tapers, and you strum it with one of the corners.
If I were less culturally sensitive, I'd say it's big enough you'd serve rice with it.
Yeah, right. It's like it's a big paddle, is what it is. But it comes to 2 points essentially, instead of being rounded at the end, and it's so cool. Like, I would love to learn how to play that, but probably not going to.
Never say never.
Yeah, that's, Kubo and the Two Strings would be it would be a good example of to sort of see the kind, and I guess the music that is played in that is probably similar to.
I would actually recommend, if you're curious as to what it sounds like, the best example is if you YouTube "Smoke on the Water" shamisen. I think that'll get it for you.
There is at one point I fell down a YouTube hole of just popular songs being played with traditional Japanese instruments.
Oh,
wow!
There was a whole there was just this channel that was all sorts of incredibly talented traditional Japanese, and so it would be like 3 or 4 minutes about that instrument, and then it would be like, and now here's that instrument playing Smooth Criminal or whatever. It was pretty awesome.
I really like the koto as well, but I don't think I could ever get into playing the koto, because the koto they're big.
Yep.
They're very, very big.
And tuning them's a real.
Yeah, and they also have that versus that. So thank you, Nightmare Beaver.
Thank you, WikiHow.
But the koto is great and is very similar. There's a Korean instrument which is very, very similar, and to the point where I'm sure thure they're probably the same thing. But
Don't tell that to anyone who uses one.
exactly. But they're essentially a series of strings on a giant platform, and they have movable bridges. And you move the bridge to a place where you want it to represent a note, and then you can also then bend that note and put you can basically change the perspective of, like, you can change the length of that note manually as well while you're playing.
First of all, Zyme did find the proper Edo Fireman, I believe is the name of the group, version of Smoke on the Water.
Nice.
What was I mentioned about that? The koto. So the koto is basically like a stringed timpani.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely it's all pre-tuned, and you get only a little bit of control, which is all done through bending and tightening and loosening. Yeah. I mean, you could make the point that a guitar is also tightening and loosening a string because you're changing where it is fretted, but anyway, not going to get into that. But they do sound amazing.
Like a guitar with a bunch of capos.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's Beej's and there's mine. Compare and contrast.
Well, the holes are mostly in the right place on both of them.
Yeah, I don't know which one is which.
No.
Now that I've forgotten, so hey, congratulations, we got there.
Do you think it would be important to maybe like sort of deburr, I guess, the edges a little bit around the thing?
I tried to take off as much of the crud as possible using the little tools. Like Ian has this little awl with a
oh, I see.
he has
Solder
a
scraping.
round awl and a triangular awl.
Yeah, and I've been trying to pull some off with the.
Yeah, just trying to keep the little pieces off just in case any of them work their way free and then start actually rattling around on the
which
on
would
the speaker. But
definitely sound terrible.
yeah,
Well, also just, I mean, presumably we're dealing with fairly, the smoothness of the thing, I guess, is gonna not interfere with the sound waves.
yeah, exactly.
Unless you're listening to like grunge, maybe you want a really rough.
So I want a permanent fuzz pedal on my drums.
Yeah.
Sound profile. Okay, I think that's well, let's finish these up here.
That's greens. Okay,
These are the greens.
so glad. Jesus.
Beep. You can hear the crinkle.
Yeah, I
It's
could.
terrible. No visible damage though, so
That's good.
I call that a success. Get in there. You also become
Probably then
inside.
put some of these things away, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it need.
If and I feel like it.
Yeah. And we'll need another.
On the plus side, Texan has confirmed for us that mildly off-center holes are not going to be an issue for this mod.
That's good to know.
Very encouraging. Do you want to? You're taking the key with this, I'm guessing.
The key stays with the chuck, and if the chuck can fit in that thing, then that
give
would
it
be
a shot.
perfect.
Nope.
Well,
Yeah.
Balzac. Will the chuck fit in?
You can do what my dad did, and you can
This.
tie the chuck to your chuck. You can tie the key to the chuck using like a hockey lace. I had.
No, that's not going to fit in there. Well, might if
Yeah.
we remove this.
I mean, why would you ever need to charge this thing ever again?
Hey, you do it once and it's good forever, right?
Yeah.
That's how these work. Mm-hmm. Where did our foam go for these boys?
You were using that one, weren't you? Oh, you mean the foam? The
Yes.
foam. Here are 2 foams.
I think those are the foams we need.
Let's play pretend.
Great. The drill's fantastic, Texan. It's working quite well for its intended purpose so far. We'll see. I mean, I don't see it being any different for screws. So. All right, put those in there. And then we'll give this to Paul for labeling. And then I think we might be good. Red goes to right. We've been sure to mark that every time.
Yay!
Cable goes down.
Can't explain that. Red goes right, cable goes down.
And there we go. So these will be the...
Yeah, Texan having to work with a drill that's maybe like weighs 1.5 pounds and has a lot. I mean, the benefit of a full power drill, or maybe just even like a nicer quality drill,
green.
is we would be able to, we would have variable speed control, because this is essentially on or off. So you have to feather it to make sure you don't go too far. But it's nice to have something that is that light and that slow for precision work.
And let's be honest, trying to run a drill at that speed,
Yeah.
you need some very fine trigger control
Yeah.
on a full power drill.
I'm pretty sure I saved my grandfather had a hand drill, and I'm pretty sure I saved it when we were getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff after he passed away.
One of the things
Just like
one of the things I've been considering is actually one of the spring drills.
oh, like
You just push like pencil size.
Those are super
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway,
So should we do a quick commercial break and set up for this, the blind
Showdown?
test?
Paul, you've literally read my mind. So let's do what Paul says and take a short commercial break. Don't go away. We'll be back to test our brand new headphones after this. Hey, we're back here on Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, where we have been modding some KOS KSC 75 headphones with some fantastic, hopefully fantastic.
We've had great results in making it all come together.
Yeah, we've been doing that part well, and we got to thank again Texan Reverend for supplying us with the materials needed to put together this extravaganza of headphones.
Yeah.
And yeah, they already sound
Really
much
good.
better than I expected them to,
Yeah.
which is a great thing. But we're going to now do ourselves a blind taste test, and to do so, we're going to listen to our own music.
Okay.
The reason for that is that I figured we know our personal taste in music fairly well. And I don't think that there's much crossover there. And we want to listen to something we know what it's supposed to sound like,
Yeah.
to our ears at least, and then we can judge based on just what's changing, which is the headphones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remind us what the 3 different patterns are and what they're supposed to sound like, or at least what Texan has let us know that his impressions of. We'll try to figure out which one is which, and then we will. Good, they've been labeled A, B, C, D, and E.
Yep.
And then we'll hopefully try to match up what we're listening to, and then just let you guys know which one we like the best.
So the one outlier is we have a reference but we also have a reference with its original cable.
Yeah.
So there's 2 identical headphones in here, but we swapped the cables, so
Yeah.
it kind of also changes that up too.
So I think that's the first thing to do would be to listen to the reference one.
Yeah.
Then we'll listen to the reference with cable.
What we won't know which one's the reference with the cable.
That's
right?
a good point. You're
Yeah.
right. That's great.
If we listen to the reference when we know what it sounds like, and then we wouldn't be able to hear the differences.
Yeah.
So we'll know that, which would be kind of neat.
And then we can also compare it to some of the headphones I've brought from home. So,
Nice.
first off, let's remind ourselves the blue polar pattern, which was only the 4 small holes,
That's right.
has a tighter, more precise sound with slightly punchier bass.
Okay.
The orange pattern is a little more open sounding while retaining nearly all of the bass enhancement and presenting somewhat more laid back mids. So it'll probably be a more mellow sound.
Okay.
And then the main one from the community is just the best one, apparently.
The ridiculous amount of
Yeah.
holes. The green one.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to use 2 minutes, a minute and 30 seconds in as my reference point for this song, just so I'm listening to the same bit over and over again.
Okay.
And let's just work our way down.
Okay. I'm
A.
going to start with these, which I already know what these are, but it's the right hand side.
Oh, I was going to actually put you through the.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This thing is the amplifier as well, so that we're getting a good amplification on these.
Okay.
So, so you have a headphone amplifier there. Right?
Yes. So we plug into there, and so I'll start with A and then pass A off to you.
I see. Okay. Makes
And we
sense.
can-
And I can listen to my music then through there.
And
as
we can
well.
also give our commentary on what we think they sound like.
Okay.
So, yeah, definitely need to get myself some cushions for these. All right, turn that on. Let's hope that's not too loud.
And how it oh yeah, we should you could, and how it compares to just holding it up to your ear like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one seems a bit bass heavy to me. And the vocals are just a bit laid back, more than I would generally.
And you liked?
More than I generally like.
All right. You can plug me in.
Yep. Ooh, wait, that's the power.
Should I be getting a lot of 60 cycle hum?
You should be getting none. Maybe. Oh, it might be that your case is too thick.
Yeah. Let's take that off then.
Hold up. Let's see if it'll. Let's reverse that too.
Watch Laura listen
Stick that in.
to things that you can't hear.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. I got a huge 60 cycle hum. I think there's just something wrong with my headphone jack.
I think there's something wrong with your headphone
Yeah.
jack.
So we're gonna.
Oh, actually, hey,
What's that?
this is super easy to fix.
Oh, hey.
Lightning
both
works
jacks.
both ways.
Oh, and the 60 cycle hum is gone. Awesome. All right.
It's gonna get us very quietly muted.
That's interesting. Texan Reverend Beej uses a, I think it's a Christmas cookie tin to protect his headphones as well for traveling.
There's a lot of resonance on the bass that I don't normally hear.
I'm gonna say that A is probably. Well, I'm gonna keep that that secret.
This is A, is it? Okay. Hang on. I'm waiting for the drop.
Oh, okay.
That violin's buried. Okay.
What do you think?
Okay, so the violin coming in the middle. I'm listening to "Didn't It Rain" by Yoko Kanno. It's from the Arjuna soundtrack, and it's got a lot of hammered dulcimer in it. It's got a lot of like it's either soprano sax or it's an oboe or something. It's a very thin, reedy instrument, and then lots of strings because obviously. But when the violin cuts in, it's like that violin's not standing out as much as I think it should. So I think there's way more treble on this than there is any sort of mid. The bass is fine. The bass has a lot of resonance, I think. But
These are good big bassy headphones.
Yeah.
This particular one.
So-
Texan, if you could send me that link in the in Twitter, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so that was headphones A.
yeah, I'll just keep making my notes here.
I should maybe also write down what I thought of them, but they're also in the chat. Okay, so we know what these ones are. These are the reference, just the reference pair.
Okay.
That's right. Good. Oof. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So that's my 30 seconds.
All right.
I'll wait until you've given your,
I'll throw my thing in and start
Yeah.
listening.
how would I describe that? Yeah, it feels like there is a slightly rounder midsection.
Yeah, the violin's missing. It just didn't drop. It's missing.
More round mid. Interesting.
I really like the.
Interesting.
I like the bass better on these.
Yeah, the bass. You get punchier bass, I think, with this.
There's, I can't think of a good way to describe it, but I did feel like
Well,
the bass on this actually, again, the other ones felt like they were like really rumbly and coming through a lot. This felt like it wasn't quite as much there, but it was really.
It was a cleaner attack, and then the roundness. Was,
Yeah, I guess that'd be a good way to say it. As the bass came in, and it's like it didn't sound like there was too much of it, but
And this is the unmodded ones.
Yeah, this is strictly unmodded.
yeah.
So that's interesting. All right, this is now headphone set C. Take it back to the 30-second, or the 1 minute 30-second mark. Break it down.
It's funny because based on the two that I've heard
Whoa.
so far, I'm already thinking that A has to be a mod, because they're
Okay.
like a difference.
You know they sound different.
They do sound different, and I don't think it's the cable that would have done that. I don't. Like, when I say the violin's missing, I didn't mean like the violin's missing, like it's gone, but it really just kind of
Okay,
didn't really sound like it was there.
so I've got an opinion on these. I'm going to let you give this a try.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm going to need to go back to the
Reference
reference.
ones?
No, well, not reference pair, but the reference of the what these may sound like. Precise sounds like infantry. I'm going to say that these are. So these ones to me had a lot more vocal presence to them, and I was getting a punchier mid-range and definitely punchier bass as well. Not unpleasant at all, but it's yeah, it's good. I'm guessing that these. I'm going to leave these actually until the end.
Okay.
What
Uh,
are your thoughts?
I think this is the one with the laid back mids.
Okay. I felt like these had punchier
Oh, yeah?
mids.
Okay.
And definitely punchier bass, but I really liked the vocal presence on this one
Okay.
compared to the other two.
See, nothing I'm listening to has vocals in it.
Ah, okay.
So that's a little different for me. But it's definitely, yeah, there's definitely something about whatever this was. I wasn't feeling like it was that much different than the last set I listened
No,
to, but
the differences are subtle, but I'm definitely seeing a difference.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Also, I'm really enjoying the doing product reviews. We should do this more often.
we should acquire a bunch of expensive stuff and then review it live
Yes.
Your thing could be drill product reviews.
Yeah.
You send us 3 of whatever your thing is,
Mm-hmm.
and we test it 3 times with different amounts of holes drilled in it.
on air.
You hear that, Microsoft? If you're willing to send us 3 Xbox Ones,
Yeah.
we'll drill holes in them and tell you which one works best after having holes drilled in it.
Absolutely. So that was C, and this is D.
Also Lagavulin, I'd like to admit. We'll drill some holes in your scotch and it'll be great.
Yep. A hole about this big around, actually.
Yeah. I'm listening to, by the way, Galactic Pain. I can't read all the kanji. It's something de Io, something chi horse gate rase. It's the track by The Chef Cooks Me on the AKG tribute album. So hopefully that makes sense.
This is D you're listening to now?
Yes. Okay, and boom. Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like that last set, the set C. So I'm curious.
That's good. Specifically listening to the same 30 seconds of music each time is really giving me an insight into how these different headphones perform.
That's good.
Oh, sorry.
That's no problem.
That one, I think.
Okay, here we go.
Let's see. Contingent Cat, no, that's not. This isn't weeb music. This is specifically Asian Kung Fu Generation cover music. I do like me. I really enjoy cover music in general, just because I consider it to be. I mean, just because I like it. Let's be honest. That's one reason I'll listen to it. But I consider it to be the most pure form of art. Just in the sense that it's if you're one of those people like me who believes that the active portion of art, what makes things art, is the interpretation, then a reinterpretation of a performance of a different song in a new style is probably the most pure form of art. A reinterpretation of an interpretation. But that makes for a lot of assumptions about what you think art is. What do you think of those ones?
I didn't like them as well as I've liked A.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of these because it doesn't feel like there's I don't feel like there's any more of something. I didn't feel like there was any more bass than anything else, which is what makes me think that these. If anything, they would be the reference with a different cable. But I can't say for sure. I don't feel like anything has changed
Enough yet.
Well, nothing about these felt like it opened up more and made it feel like there's more of anything coming through. And I'm starting to feel like the reproduction of the violin, I've always expected there to be way more of this violin or viola. Whatever it is that's playing there that I'm trying to test out does not feel as if I'm always hearing it more in another set of headphones or on speakers or on something else I've listened to, I guess. And like, there's no way that my Sonys that I listen to are reproducing that better than these would. I don't think there would be any way at all. But I am keen to see what it's going to sound like through like your Senels, just to see.
Yeah. We're gonna get there. Want to respond to a couple things in the chat there. Rock Pusher, yeah, I do know about Coverville. Been a huge fan of them for a long time. As for Postmodern Jukebox, I actually kind of got burnt out on them recently. They don't feel as joyful as they used to. But these ones were interesting to me because I felt like they had a flatter response overall, but the vocals were clearer.
They really stood out?
They were clearer in this one than they've been in any other of the headphones I've tried.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm curious about that. I guess maybe we should compare our favorites to other headphones then once we're...
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
All right, so this is our final pair of headphones. By process of elimination, this should be the only one I haven't picked yet. Let's see how... Oops, that's not supposed to come out.
Okay. I thought it was the cable that came out.
No, I did a much better job at soldering them.
No, I figured you would have.
Okay, here we go. These are my favorite already. Jesus.
It's funny because in doing this, I'm trying my best to detect these differences, and they really do feel very subtle. And it might just be that I'm listening to everything through 38-year-old ears, and I don't have the same. Like, I can walk into a room and hear a CRT monitor on. I can still do that. It's not like I've lost all my hearing. But yeah, there is something about like this that I'm like, I can detect little differences, but I don't think it's enough to make a huge difference for me. So.
Yo.
Okay. Click.
Yeah, Tex, and I will definitely try out some pentatonics on these. I probably share the playlist you put together is for testing here. Again, using music we're familiar with, though, specifically so we can properly gauge the differences, if not not what sort of music they go best with. Which is another weird thing about audiophile stuff, is that different.
So depending on what kind of, like, does a real audiophile have like a bunch of different headphones that they wear depending on what music they're about to listen to?
You know what? I don't think that's generally.
Is it like you pair the headphone like a sommelier kind of thing? You pair the headphones with the music.
From what I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Cool.
In the same way that I have different keyboards for different uses.
I've just started making guesses now.
Okay. Well, I think what did you think about those ones? Just as a reaction.
I didn't like this pair.
Okay.
For the 15 to 30 seconds of music I put through it, I didn't like this pair as much as I liked other pairs of headphones that I listened to. That it sounded very this is another case of like I felt like the mids were just going away. It had great treble response.
Interesting you mentioned that, because that one, the vocals were very present in this for me.
Yeah.
But I felt like everything else was the most balanced out of all of these.
Out of all of them?
Rather than having a more pronounced high end or a more pronounced low end, this was just balanced, more flat sound.
Okay.
Also, do you use an EQ setting on your phone?
No, I don't. I leave
Yeah.
it flat.
Yeah, I also do leave it flat.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess first thing would be, which did you like the best out of all 5?
I think I have to give my. I'm kind of caught between D and E, but I think I'm gonna go with E as my pick.
I liked A and C better overall. But I would probably, judging from my notes, it's hard to remember. I feel like I got about the same. I think probably C would be my pick for what I would pick.
Yongu Nyi, YNE. I wouldn't doubt if the placebo effect is maybe having something to do here. It's hard to say. I feel like I'm
Like we don't know which one is which.
Yeah.
But
We're trying to. Yeah.
Can we hear the differences?
The blind test is trying to mitigate that to some extent, but
yeah.
And
there's a certain point where you're sort of turning, metaphorically turning up the gain in your sort of hearing and your perception. You're turning up the gain so high that sometimes the noise is
like
Exactly.
I was trying to hear if I could hear differences, because I want to be able to say, well, if there is a difference and there should be these kind of things, where do I hear that difference? And it is so slight for me that I am not picking up meaningful differences.
Like if I were buying these headphones,
Yeah.
like if I were in Akihabara and going to the rack of headphones and trying on the different ones, and they all look the same like this. Yeah, there are ones here that I would choose.
More over another pair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if I was spending big money on it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, right? A lot of times when you're going to spend money on something, like a lot of money on something, you're like,
Yeah.
I want to walk away with a thing that I know I felt good about listening to.
This definitely rewards experimentation. But
People are asked as well, is like, I'm listening to my stuff on an iPhone 6s through a Lightning to audio adapter through Ian's amp, and he is using an iPhone 10
yes,
through a Lightning
through
2.
Lightning into a T amp.
Yeah, so probably more difference is being made here than it is being made through the phone, because
The reason I'm driving
this is doing more of the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm driving it through here is specifically so that we're making sure that these headphones get enough power to drive them properly.
Yeah, and we're not using the onboard. Well, I have an onboard headphone amp, obviously, as part of this because it has a headphone jack. And you
generally
do not
pretty
have
good.
that. Yeah, and because I'm not using that headphone amp, because I'm using the Lightning to do it. This is doing like whatever Lightning chip is in here. If it's the same as what is in yours, it's going to be doing the same thing. Is sending digital out to turn into audio. So yeah, that's probably the easiest way to make what we were both listening to be the same hardware.
It's as close as we can get.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on which is which?
So I'm going to guess that A was the reference with the new chord. B was just the straight reference, and we don't have to guess on that. B is right there. C, I'm going to guess, was the green profile, which was supposedly the community favorite. D, I'm going to guess, is blue, which was the 4 single holes. And E, my favorite, I'm going to guess, was the orange pattern.
Okay.
Okay.
Which one had the laid back mids again?
The laid back
Was the orange one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so then my guess is that A was blue, B obviously was reference,
Yeah.
C was orange, D was the unmodded set, and E was the green set.
Okay, so completely different.
Yeah, completely different based on the descriptions of what I was expecting.
Okay. So the real answers
Are
so A was orange,
Oh.
B was the stock set, C was green,
Okay.
okay.
D was blue,
Oh, wow.
And so E was the only cable modified set.
So I was wrong on all of them.
I think I was also wrong on. No, I got C entirely correct.
Nice.
And I got D correct as well.
Good job.
I swapped A and E. Interesting.
That's good. You did very well.
So I would be really curious. I mean, now that you know, both of you had distinct differences, or you said distinctly different things when you listened to the reference set versus the reference set with a different cable.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if you just try right now, even though you know, to listen to them again and see if that is because I mean the cable seems like something that shouldn't
So,
make a big difference.
B and E then, right?
B and E, yeah.
C.
This was E.
and this is B. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start with the
Start with B.
the unmodified version. And then let's try out our favorites with a couple of other headphones, just for fun. Yeah, this is round and slightly muffled.
Okay.
The
Okay. And then I'm going to jump right into the other ones.
Okay.
And let you do the same.
Yeah, I'll put these on for the time being.
So by the way, the green was your favorite, Beige.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, I'm going to change mine to blue to be my favorite, because I was hung up on the two. I feel like there is a very, very slight difference between
Really?
the two of these.
Okay. I can't wait to see if I can hear it.
And I think that the cable cleans up just a bit.
Yeah, of course that would be the interesting thing is to I take it back, change all the letters around, and we try it. do it
Yeah,
again,
see if we
but
can do it
We
again.
don't really have.
I did
I think
a
that's good to do.
one of the things I did do before the show is I did have a look at some of the tutorials on this, and one person out there actually went ahead and made sonic profiles of these headphones, not with all these particular mods, but with some of the
Like putting them in a special thing. Or...
chamber with the microphone, and then running it through a tone generator, or however it's actually done. But they outputted the graphs for these, and at least in terms of data, there are differences in terms of cable usage and the drill patterns.
I mean, I guess that is the thing. Like, you know, we were talking about how difficult it is to verify something like quality based on the actual like acoustic signature. But what you can verify, obviously, is that something changed.
Yeah, and it's
They are different.
yeah, and it's as Dex points out, a question of what you actually like more than anything else. I mean, people buy graphic equalizers and just tune them to their own particular preferences. But yeah, these are a very inexpensive way of starting. You're starting down the terrible path to becoming an audiophile.
Yeah. It's if you have a complete magic collection and for some reason still have too much money on your hands, then audiophile equipment is the next best thing.
Yeah, start with a good. You got to start with a good power conditioner, or if you're like certain people in Japan, you've got to talk to the power company to have your own splice off the power mains that is not shared with your own transformer that's not shared with any of your neighbors.
I would have thought that at that point you would just have like battery power on everything to do
That would make sense too,
total
but
control.
I like these better.
really,
Yeah, than the originals.
isn't it
Yeah.
slight? But
The new cable.
Yeah, with the new cable, weirdly, but yeah, for some reason with the new cable, so I figured it out. I keep calling it a violin over and over, and I realize as I listen to it more, I'm like, no, that's a cello. It's just a cello playing a lot higher than I expect a cello to always play. I like the cello better, and through these headphones, but I really like the cello better when I can really hear it. And for some reason, these don't produce quite the same. Like I don't get the same reproduction through them, but I do like these quite a bit. For just being a cable mod, that's a hell of a thing. That it's like, oh, I actually heard that.
well, I'm going to switch out here and do a comparison with D and these Senel studio reference monitors.
Sure.
Which are a copy of the Sony MDR7506s, which is basically the standard for.
Does the Lightning
Which are the ones that I am currently wearing also.
Yes.
does the Lightning adapter also pass microphone?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I might have to buy one of those.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, I do like them.
I mean, you will eventually have to buy in one of those.
Yeah, it's true. It's just because I think my headphone jack is just messed up and I can't fix it.
Whereas I'm now just looking at finding ways to Bluetooth mod the rest of my headphones.
Yeah, that might be just it. Well, it's more about. I guess actually, if I just had to set
I mean,
AirPods,
that
it
kills
wouldn't
your
matter.
audio too, though, right? Bluetooth.
True, it does, but it's.
You take a bit of a hit.
But let's be honest, the convenience of not having cords get in the way is really appealing.
Like, that kind of talk is never going to get you to go to the power company and get them to give you a new
A new tap.
tap. Yeah, that's clearly somebody who isn't concerned about convenience.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a feel of what these headphones sound like. It's like no longer surprising. This is now, okay, this is how this song sounds now.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when I put on my favorite set that I've been wearing for a while.
I mean, on the plus side, I can't hear any bleed through from these at all. So that's really nice. It's, Heather got a set of Quiet Comforts, thanks to generosity of people in her chat.
Here's an interesting thing.
And I like them too.
I don't want to actually spoil you on that. So yeah, grab your favorite pair.
Let's have a look again. Yeah, I said it was C, wasn't it? Or was it A? I was so halfway between those.
You said you liked C.
Yeah.
The green ones.
Yeah, let's just take C.
And what was your other halfway one?
A and C were the ones I was halfway between.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh Christ! Every time. There we go.
It's going to be very interesting. So hopefully you can't hear me. I forget how flat these sound. And they're meant to sound flat because they're reference headphones. They're definitely clearer than the D, but I don't know if I prefer them, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the headphones here. I've also got Corey's pair of these Sennheiser unmarked headphone. Oh no, HD 518s. And to be honest, I actually don't like any of those headphones.
Which, the Sennheisers?
No, any of the ones we have here.
Me neither.
Oh, okay.
No. I like our Sonys the best.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
hello.
The Sonys are the good ones.
Yeah.
So these feel real good.
They absolutely do.
And Tex, if you have a problem with pressure on your head, try the Senels. They're very gentle.
Yeah, they're really gentle.
Also, the reason to go with the Senels over the Sony MDRs is the replaceable cable in the side.
That's really nice. And they're slightly cheaper too. But
But
the
always,
replaceable cable is pretty solid.
I generally don't.
They do make my ears kind of sweaty after a while. So.
It is true. I tend to avoid headphones these days that don't have replaceable cables, just because I've had so many $100 pairs of Sony earbuds die on me and just like.
Of course, now you can just solder on new cables.
Well, I mean, for these ones, yeah, it's easy.
Wow.
But for something like this, that's completely enclosed.
Ooh.
So, what do you think of those?
There's an awful lot of stuff I like about how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But there was the amount of mid-range on these versus the C's.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was no mid-range. I was like, that cello that I was listening to, where I keep hearing like the rumble, what I'm assuming is like the kind of rumble you get from inside a wood cavity. I'm like, there's none of that here. Is that because I'm like, I know these are made with some amazing drivers and whatnot. I'm like, I wonder if these are made with, if the song was mixed to reduce that kind of reproduction, or if it's if there's something else about why that's like that. Like, I don't know.
So this song is probably mixed with a pair of these when they were using headphones. Or something like that. And then a very specific set of speakers
probably
that are reference.
But it's interesting because it's like, I did like how when I could hear that rumble, that I was like, I like that really spoke to me as this is what a cello is. Whereas when I'm hearing it through here, and I'm wondering if maybe a bit of that too is because I'm listening to open back versus closed back, so I'm hearing there's a lot more movement on the open backed headphones.
These are also very, very flat signal response.
Okay.
Is the Snell 1000s?
Yes. Yeah, the 1000s. Are you going to get that to Texan?
Yeah, well, I was just going to post it in chat.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's that means I don't have to worry about getting that to Twitter later. Okay, so those were the MDRs.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to try Corey's Sennheiser HD 518s. So these are, I believe, open-backed as well.
Okay.
Because just in the background, but these are well-regarded headphones. But I'll start once again with my Ds, my blue mod from the blue period.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what's a good idea? Taking off the headphones
Before plugging in the cable?
Yep.
That click every time?
All right.
It's funny because every time we're filming something, and I'm running the boom, so I'll have the headphones on, it doesn't bother me if we plug into the camera while the microphone cable's plugged in or whatever. It's like, oh, plug my headphones in, then plug microphone cables. There's always a big pop, right, when the connection takes. It doesn't bother me that much. This bugs me more. It's louder, I think. Ow.
The amp is louder, or?
The click that I get when we plug in
yeah.
here is louder than I get from the Ursa when we plug a boom into it.
Ah, there it's left. Oh yeah, these ones have a tighter grip. Okay, back it up to 30 seconds.
It's interesting to hear just like the sound bleed.
Yeah.
The Sennels almost have no
Zero.
sound bleed, which obviously goes both ways.
Wow.
They're meant to be that.
Yeah, they're meant to close off. What'd you think?
I'm gonna wait until you've heard.
Okay. But do you feel like you liked it better or not?
I'm not going to say.
You're
one
gonna
way or
wait
another.
until I have a go. All right.
I don't want to influence your.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I have seen those headphones that are basically just like a band with two like they're
Oh, yeah.
completely open, like it's just a band with like two speakers that just sit near your ears.
The Stacks, I believe, is the brand of those. Like they just look like big rectangular things. Yeah, those are great. Though, I found out two things today when I was doing research on electrostatic speakers. One, that plasma tweeters are a thing that exist and that you can build. Speakers that just use arcing electricity to create plasma from the air.
How does that? Wait, what? What does that do?
They use.
They make the sound that they make is. Doesn't that just sound like?
Unless you're very carefully controlling it, and then it becomes just properly vibrating at the appropriate.
I'm guessing
frequencies.
these are not headphones.
They did make plasma headphones.
I don't want plasma in my headphones.
No, you don't. Especially seeing as I started reading down a little bit farther, and they were saying, yeah, so if you make sure you've got proper ventilation, you don't have to worry so much about the concept of ozone poisoning. Why do I need to worry about ozone poisoning in my headphones?
I'm glad that I came back to that.
I was found out today that plasma tweeters are a thing.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we've all seen those. This is so weird. Okay, first, we've all seen those things where the Tesla coils are playing music, but yeah.
It's a similar.
It's a similar technology.
But I'm assuming those don't sound good though.
Well, I mean, who's to say, right? I mean, anyway. This is weird. I can hear myself perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking off a little bit of echo in the room, and that's it.
It's the magic of the open bag headphones.
It's real weird though to have that.
Rated online, the headphones we use in the streaming office are a mixture of Sony 7506s and the Senel 1000s.
I think the Senel has been moved to Studio B.
Okay, so it might just be straight.
I think we're just
Sonys?
using 7506s now in Studio A.
Yeah, I've never been able to hear a difference between the Sonys and the Senels.
And then whenever we have 4 people on, 2 people are on the 7506s and 2 people are on whatever kind of older trash headphones that we happen to have hanging around. We have some those Panasonic cans that are like, they feel nice when they're on, they look good and everything. I think they sound good, but I don't think they do the kind of, I don't think they do the kind of isolation job that we need when using them with the boom. I gotta listen to my thing, sorry.
Now I can hear Beach's music. Actually, weirdly, the leakage from these is about on par with the leakage from these Cosses.
Yeah, I used to have a pair of headphones that I actually quite liked for travel and stuff because it's a style that isn't really used much anymore, but it's the ones that they're basically earbuds but on a band.
Oh yeah.
Like they're actually, they go direct actually into your ear, but rather than having to be held there by your ear canal, they're actually on a band as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they were great for that thing where you can hear the music, and they sound like they weren't amazing or anything, but they sounded good. But you could also hear the world around you. So if you're traveling or whatever, there's an announcement or something, you can still hear the things.
There's a good amount of Yeah, we're about to get into my personal preferred travel headphones. The Bose Quiet Comfort. But
I can't deal with on-ear headphones for any, just because of my glasses and stuff. Like for any length of time, it really bugs my ears.
Yep, that's fair. What did you think
These
of
are
that?
bar none the best headphones I've ever listened to.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are amazing.
That's interesting because I really didn't like them compared to.
It's fine.
In a quick comparison between my D's and this, that felt to me like I had like earmuffs on.
Yeah, I know this. Wow, I'm keen to see what a noise canceling set compares, but I am shocked at how good these are.
Well, next time you're in Japan, they're relatively cheap there.
I've got my Biodynamic DT280s at home that I don't use for any listening because they have a 1/4-inch plug on the end of them. And I've been because they were my Skype headphones.
Right.
And I was meaning to either get a different cable for them or just use them whenever. They have a big microphone on the front. They're basically the same. They're the same set that they wear in the announcers of the NBA wear, and they are really nice. But I have no idea what music sounds like through them. I've never listened to music through them.
Give me back my youth. There we go. Okay, last reminder of what these sound like. I'm getting really used to these now, actually.
That's good. The reproduction of this song through the Sennheisers.
Yeah, these, sorry if I'm interrupting.
No, it's okay.
These actually do not press on my glasses at all.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. I mean, light headphones like that. I'm talking about the ones like the Quiet Comforts,
Right.
Where they're a little bit more substantial. Like the headphones like that don't actually sort of make any. They're not even trying to sort of block out your ear.
Yeah.
Whereas the Quiet Comfort ones obviously are trying to some extent.
I'm also not in the market to buy anything, period, right now. I'm not in a position to drop money on headphones. But thank you for the
So
recommendation.
if you have like a bunch already.
Yeah.
Like,
And I do have a bunch already. Like,
Ooh, this is much quieter.
wait. The headphones themselves are quieter?
Yeah.
Are they canceling out your music because it thinks it's noise?
Hold up, I'm just going to see if this makes a difference.
Yeah, higher impedance. That's actually on this this computer, like the streaming computer that we use.
yeah.
I guess how the audio card works. When you plug in a pair of headphones, it pops up a thing being like, "Are these low, medium, or high impedance headphones?"
So yeah,
interesting.
you're definitely going to want to plug these headphones directly into your phone when you give it a try.
Okay.
Wow, this is the first time I've actually done this much comparison with my various.
Yeah. Do you
headphones.
remember that Skype call we had about 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, where I was like, "Hey, so I'm
do
going
I
to keep
sound
calling
now?"
you back over and over and over again and ask you how I sound," and you're like, "Okay," and so I kept dropping and coming back to the conversation over and over, with very little difference between all of those microphones.
I'd blame a lot of that on Skype too. Galactic Pain, at least Monster Hunter World is a good investment, from what I understand. Yeah. I'm honestly very surprised at how good these sound. They're very close to what the Bose sound like. The Bose have probably the most balanced in terms of what I'd call crowd-pleasing audio profile, and these are just a bit heavier on the bass.
I'm almost mad listening to this song now. Like, I'm almost just pissed off that it is none of these are the best I've heard so far. I'm just like, fuck. So all right, how do I? Which is the which side?
You're like, I don't even
You,
like.
you got it right.
You're like, I don't even like this song. It's like it turns out the song I thought I was listening to was totally different.
Yeah. God, let me tell you, noise canceling headphones. All that air just went away.
Yep.
Oh. Whew. All right, let's see.
Talk about peach.
Let's see what we can do here.
He's a good man. A good man.
He is a handsome fellow.
Very.
Are those active noise canceling?
Yes. So you.
Which is currently turned on, I assume?
Yes.
Is it just always on, or is it?
Oh no, you can see the little green light here on the side. Maybe you can't at home, unfortunately, but.
That was the first time when I was traveling with noise canceling headphones, and the flight attendant was like, "Turn off your headphones," because it was an electronic device. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I had to turn off my headphones for flight."
Yeah, thankfully I haven't run into that yet. But yeah, the pressure that an active noise canceling headphone is something that always kind of bothers me a bit. I'm still getting used to it, but boy, the last flight I took, it was the first time in a long time I've sat behind the wing. I generally try not to, and I remembered why I don't. That's a loud place to sit.
Well, you had the headphones though, eh?
Yes, and they were necessary at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually used mine not even with any music, just wearing them.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. Trying to sleep and just, nope, can't.
But yeah. Anyway, what do you think, Bish?
The cello comes through way better on these than on these. I prefer these to that. The Beltry also sounds. There's a couple Beltry flourishes in this, and the Beltry sounds way clearer in this than in this, but sounded really. It sounded really. It sounds like why you want to use a Beltry in music in the first place when you play it through this.
Okay.
It sounds like this is the effect you wanted, right? And it's like, yes, that's the effect I wanted. It's like, oh, it has that kind of uplifting feel to it.
I think these ones have what I would call the most crowd-pleasing sonic profile to
They're
them.
probably tuned that way.
Yeah,
eh?
just to sound good with everything.
Yeah.
These ones I think might actually be tuned more for classical music.
That might be why this reproduces the way I like it, because all the string instruments especially. But yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Flatness on it. Well, that's
What have we learned?
We've learned that turns out there's a lot you can do to headphones. Even first off,
So
cost QC 35
KC?
KCS 75s.
There we go.
Really good. If you only have $30 to spend on headphones,
Yeah.
highly recommend.
And then you can spend the time doing you could be like, this cable is fine. However, I maybe could add a cable.
Yep. Or as Texan was mentioning earlier, buy a few sets and experiment on the drill out patterns and find the one you like.
Yeah.
Because there's
So the question is, how much better would Corey's headphones be
if I drilled out.
if you drilled out a specific pattern?
I'll get the drill.
Let's see it. All right, well, I think that's going to bring us to a close here on Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again to Tex and Reverend for providing us with the headphones and the tools necessary to put this particular show together. And I'd like to thank as well everyone out there who is supporting us both here on twitch.tv and over at the Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. That's the way that we get paid.
This
that's
is how we do, yeah.
And that's how we pay all the people that we need to pay to keep doing this, because we can't afford our own tap off the power lines either.
Coming up next.
Coming up next is going to be Mine O'Clock.
That's right. We're on Tuesdays now.
Yep, which is when James plays Mine O'Clock. Minecraft.
Oh, it's going to be more Snorscraft.
Hey!
Looks like from the image. So
That's good.
that's awesome.
And then we'll have Alone in the Dark 2 on Let's Nope, where
Nice.
Alex and Ben get together to get spooked out by this classic. Then it's AFK tomorrow night. We are playing Mysterium. Are you playing Mysterium?
I'm hopefully playing Mysterium.
I am playing Mysterium, and Ben is playing Mysterium, and someone else will be playing Mysterium. Find out
Forget who it was.
Tune in at 6. And on Thursday, it's 18 Games and Counting at 10:30 PST. which you know the drill for at this point, and same deal with Lure MTG, the Magic the Gathering stream.
Happening yet on Mitgo?
After that is going to be Talking Simulator playing Papers, Please.
Yeah.
So yeah, come see what that
I
classic.
don't know if they've done this before. So yeah.
We've certainly talked a lot about Papers, Please, but let's see what they feel about the gameplay. And then on Friday, it's going to be Now Kiss, where Beej and Kathleen are going back to Lady Killer in a Bind.
This should be the last. This should be day 6, night 6, and then all of day 7. I think we'll be able to make through one complete playthrough. And thank you to everybody who's been buying copies of this to play their own playthroughs, because we're not probably going to come back to it. Please enjoy the alternate routes as well.
There's a lot of content to uncover.
Yep.
Then we will have Adam. What? Adam's Game House on a Friday? Yes, it's true. He'll be playing Monster Hunter World
How
at
weird.
noon Pacific. So check that out.
That's cool.
And then on Saturday, we'll have
Still Friday, yeah.
we'll have a Paper Magic.
Right.
Paper Magic slot.
Because we haven't played Commander in a while, apparently.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
That's going to be an exciting thing with Ben.
And others.
Yes, and others.
I don't know who's on.
Ben and James will be there as well, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
And of course, Loading Read Live.
Coming up.
Yes, the last one of January
And-
the first one of
Of
January.
what we can say is that we are working on a pre-record segment that I don't want to say anything about, but I think you guys will like it.
I mean, you're going to like all of our pre-record segments, but hey, yeah. Paul, do we have any subscribers who subscribed during this particular stream of subscriptions today?
No.
Oh, well, that
nobody
makes it
subscribes.
easy.
Sweet. See ya.
Except for these people.
Oh, it's Dandenstorm 12 for 42 months. Hey, friends. Hey to you, Dandenstorm.
And it's Dunny Zero for 18 months. I
we're-
didn't want to make you feel bad.
No, we're doing this now. Pyre Strider is a brand new subscriber. Welcome to the channel.
And welcome to Bistod, who's back for their 16th month. Welcome back.
Tycoon 2 for 15 months. Tinker with the sound, Tailor with the headset fit, solder the speakers in place, fry the laptop. Uh-oh.
And welcome to Zed Arthen, who came back for the 10th month.
Here comes Brobot662 for 8 months. Thank you, Brobot.
Followed by Zerg539 for a full year already. Oh god, are you time vampire stealing my months? I mean, I was surprised too.
Yeah. Lethal Rose for 13 months. 13 months, that's almost a year. It goes both ways.
Everyone say hi to Kazman20A, back for their 17th month.
They're the Casman. Come back! 323 for 9 months. Hack the world. I mean, one piece at a time.
Triple U for 49 months. Hooray for making things.
Coffee Condor is a brand new subscriber.
Let's get ready to welcome Digital Seahorse back for the 3rd month, gifted by Rock Pusher.
Hey. Transcott has subscribed for 2 months. Woot woot.
I think Paul is manually lengthened. Jake the Guy, who's a new subscriber. Welcome, Jake. Thank you, Gendrick89, for that gift.
Yes, and it's Tilty House with a 2-month resub gifted by Rock Pusher. Thank you, Rock Pusher, from me and from the channel.
And CF Preston for the 10th month. Welcome back.
Salem Adams for 12 months, got home from work and remembered that I should resubscribe. Thank you for doing so.
It's Things on my stream. He's in the room for 10 months. Another gift by Rock Pusher. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pentatonics Panda 47 is a new subscriber gifted by Gendrick89.
I feel like there's a gift war going on. Anja Zeta for the 16th month. Teach me to solder, senpai.
Oh, my rosin is moving on
on
its own.
its
Ashton is a new subscriber gifted by Rock Pusher.
It's Patricia Eckert. You're a new Patreon supporter.
And we'd like to thank Rock Pusher and Gendrick for those 4,300 bits.
Dubbits.
And as might be
Dubbits.
clear,
Dubbits.
because there's two people who gave bits, in particular Genderic89 with that 4,200 bits.
Damn.
Wow.
That's
Hats
very generous.
Off to you. Wow, this has been a very successful episode.
Yeah, we took apart and modded 5 pairs of headphones, and then we did a showdown. That was pretty damn good.
And no one got hurt. Speaking of which...
Right? How did that go?
Speaking of which, I was gonna say you took apart 5 pairs of headphones, and you still have 5 pairs of headphones.
Yes.
Although, actually, now that I think about it, you took apart 10 pairs of headphones.
That's true.
So you
Shit.
have 5.
Yeah.
So that's not actually that good.
I mean, we could get the old clips and put them on the shitty headphones and then throw them away.
I suppose next episode I could make like a bolo and just
yeah.
hunt people down with headphones.
All right, but we do have this straw poll.
Yes.
Looking to do. Hello and welcome to the first Tinker Tailor Solder Fry of the year.
Oh God, it is.
It is.
What are you looking forward this year? That's the poll.
Oh.
So we have 23% say one of the T's in TTSF becomes Tuesday, which means this will air on a completely random day,
Right.
Wow.
as we found out from Rhythm Tuesday. So it'd be Tuesday Tinker Solder Fry. In honor of Avengers Infinity War, Ian successfully creates an arc reactor.
Sweet.
I'm looking forward to that.
24 votes for that. The crossover with Gardening with Greg, where Greg finally gets to plant opium.
Just opium.
Yeah.
Not even poppies. He grows an opium tree.
Yeah.
Gotta tap it like a maple.
16% say Ian, just all of him.
Ooh, that's good.
They just want that. That's all they want, which I think that's actually achievable.
Yeah.
11% say the crew crossing over to the mirror universe and joining Morgan's man cooking stream show TTSF T-Bones torching sizzling fry.
Oh, cute.
8% say the crew attempting to recreate the Tower of Babel and becoming multilingual.
Nutty.
And 6% say Victoria getting a small cut on the hand and forever giving the entire town a taste for blood.
Oh, I thought it was going to be something to do with the tsunami.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this morning.
Everyone woke up to finding out they slept through a tsunami warning.
Well, yeah. This morning I was working. James and I came in early to do some upgrades on the gaming PC, and James was like, "Yeah, that's tsunami warning, eh?" And I was like, "What? I didn't hear anything about that." He's like, "Really?" It's like, "Yeah." So there's a tsunami coming? should we leave?
No, we're on the second floor. You know.
Yeah, we're
It'll
fine.
be fine.
Oh my God.
Great.
Yeah. Chances. Yeah, tsunami warning would be. I mean, I guess the warning happened, but it turned out to be not a.
Not a big one.
Yeah, for anyone who isn't aware, the West Coast, basically Alaska, all the way down to California, at about 3 in the morning last night, it was just like, hey, by the way, could be a tsunami. Keep an eye out. We'll let you know. You know, you're under warning and watch. And
There was a
people-
hell of an earthquake up in near Alaska. And
Yeah.
Because of the way that these things work, they don't know what kind of. They don't know if it's the tsunami kind of earthquake or the it's okay kind of earthquake
Yeah.
until well after it's happened. They've had a chance to identify or they've had a chance to analyze the data. So it's better to hit the button saying warn everyone rather than
Yeah.
not have any warning at all.
It's funny because I was awake and saw the thing an hour late, and then saw Cameron post. He said he's like, oh, not that kind of earthquake, I guess. We can all go to bed. And I was like, oh, good. I was already in bed.
It's a good thing we have a friend who's a geologist. not Cam. But
Not Cam, but yeah.
I like that, it's like in 3 weeks somebody's going to be like, okay, we did the analysis, we crunched the numbers. Turns out that wasn't a bad earthquake, or that wasn't a tsunami creating earthquake.
You're right.
you can all rest
we
easily.
were fine.
All right.
So, no tsunami problems here as of 9/17.
As it sits.
so far we're okay. And assuming that continues to be the case, there will be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Barring no further tsunami developments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to bring an end to the broadcast day here at Loading Ready Run. We will see you tomorrow. Well, we'll see you in a fortnight.
Please remember to stand for your national anthems.
Yes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button or the follow button if you haven't, so that you know when we're back.
And we'll be back.
Good night. Ever forward.
Never learning.